You're welcome.
I woke up for that.
Not easy being a kept man, but somebody's got to do it.
God's almighty. Right, there's the chat. Hooray. Up to episode 11 now. Of this season, I should say. Most of it's been dealing with the Harbingers, to be fair.
Hoping there's an arc on the horizon somewhere.
Well, now that you said
It hasn't been 11 since you introduced him.
No, it's been
Something
like,
like
they've taken up like, yeah, a few episodes now. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 episodes on just them. I know because of the weird song titles I had. Shout it out there. Shout it out here. Let's just edit this. Let's not just look the look. Probably should those people know because they might care.
Hey, Klingon people, what was the Order of the Batleth doing for Ryu again as a medal?
What?
What did the Order of the Batleth do again as a medal?
It's in the book.
Fuck. I was just hoping one of you would.
RTFM, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, I'm AD Spinger, also known as Corbinian. This is the Electric Metropolis video game tour, and we are playing an episode of Halanak Station, a Star Trek Adventure tale, a Star Trek Adventure RPG tale. You get what I mean. It is currently stardate 60576.6. It has been a couple days since the end of the previous mission, and by this point, the Da Vinci has come to dock at Halanak Station, and various personnel and persons and particulars need to be addressed. Currently, it is a one-threat game. And I think what I'm going to do is, since this is a one-threat game, we are going to have a little bit of a personal log from each of you as I pull into each of your scenes. That's what I'm planning on. Because there's no grand mission here. You're all here, and there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done before the Da Vinci can really go anywhere. Because, yeah, since the retirement of Admiral Pend, you now need to resolve certain things. So, on the back of that, it would help if I was at the right panel. There we go. We go to the UP system, or Upantar system. If we need to be a little zoomed in further, keep going to the Upantar system itself. Planetary system, I should say. And I'm not on too much caffeine. You are. Embrace the silence. No. So, Ninth Analyst, to recap for you all that know more of him, Ninth Analyst is representing the Harbingers from the Kingdom of Heaven. Angela is the one of the contesting persons. Rule number 11, there is no such thing as too much caffeine. I used to have a quote thing. I should put that back in.
Very much is.
But yes, Angela is another Harbinger that is a dissident, if you will, a rather murderous dissident. And those two are present within the station, arguing their cases with the Free Information Authorities and various ministries, so they're here. So, the question becomes, who wishes to reveal what they're up to on Halanak Station first?
And we all did get back to Halanak.
You're all back, yeah.
That's a good question. Where have I been? Obviously in the background, but like... physically.
Well, spiritually, you're at wherever where you believe you are. But
Well, no,
physically,
I'm a cold, dead machine. I don't have a spirit.
See, you say stuff like that, and you're gonna not get any rights in the synth committee.
Yeah, that sounds like some like internalized machine phobia. All sentient beings have spirits.
So I would presume. I think I've
You
suggested
have
that
no
you
ghost.
have been. Well, ghosts can be in the machine after all. Ask the Laughing Man. I references two different franchises.
Are
But
those
anyway.
little tanks? Those little wheelie tanks.
Maybe I need to ask a tech priest.
Tachicomas. Talk to the Tachicomas.
Do not talk to Test Priest. They'll just have you throw oil everywhere and mumble about toasters. You have been on the Da Vinci A kind of running in the background as the command staff have been blasting you from one problem to another, and you've been juggling problems for a while. So you've kind of been occupied fixing various things because the ship was in crisis for a bit and suffered a couple of breaches. Actually, it still has a couple of breaches, come to think of it. Well, it has one. I think one of them was prevented. Because the ship had been struck by a nuclear missile. Well, it got in the way of a nuclear missile, to be more accurate. But, preserving life and maintaining the peace, that sort of nonsense, Yeah, it just has one breach. So, yeah, you've been on the Da Vinci mostly. You've just been out of the loop just because you've been up to your neck, metaphorically speaking, of in engineering work. It's only now, once on your way back over the last couple days, have you slowly been brought up to speed a little bit about what's been going on by your staff and the command staff. But let us start with you then. Really? Current start date is 60576.6. And what does the personal log of Commander Haifa reflect? And where is he?
When is the start date? Chief Engineer's log, 60576.6. I've just finished the third set of diagnostics on the core and have closed out over a week of continuous on maintenance. I think I'm going to have to deactivate for a while. I hope to get back to finishing the shuttle prototype. And am interested to see who our new captain will be. In log.
Whereabouts is the hologram Haifa? Would this log be done within the confines of the computer system and the Holomatrix, somewhere in the Da Vinci A, somewhere on Halanak Station?
I think in the computer, if I've been constantly busy for a while, then I think it's, probably have serious interest in deactivating for a short period of time. So probably handling last minute things, not as a, hologram in physical space, but as a program running on the ship's computer.
Anything particular you wish to poke about in the computer, or any pastime Haifa has while within the system? Because, you have as much free reign over the computer systems as any officer of your rank would. It's just you're doing it a lot faster than an average officer would be able to, because you're in the system.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and reserve me some processor time for the finishing the integration of the QSD and the RCS for the shuttle.
Easily done. Oh yeah, you've had 2 magnitude down on this, so this is mainly finishing up because you're at like work 12, mag 2 of 5, and the difficulty was brought down to 1, so just a matter of checking and rechecking and getting everything theoretically put together in such a way that it can practically be implemented. To it, I would say reason engineering, assisted by computers engineering.
All right.
Books open, that's okay. Plus ship. Wait, you're docked. It'd be plus station, but same difference. I think 3 would get it. So you generate a momentum.
Depends if a 3 is a crit or not, though. Is a 3 a crit on the station or not?
Ooh, that's worth checking.
It is.
Oh, there you go. So you actually generate 2 momentum.
Look at that. I've got your back, Haifa.
Well, you do now.
I think. Yeah, I was about to say we're entering bribery
Smiley
territory,
face.
considering.
7 challenge dice, please.
Bribery? I would never.
Blam, you get more than 0. Although we do add that up because it makes it more expensive for me to buy it back.
Well,
It's
and
not-
you get 2, 1 for more than 5, and 1 for over the.
Oh, you get 2 magnitude for 1. Yep. So you went from magnitude 2 to magnitude 4 of 5, and the work is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. So you're up to 21 of 12. Way harder for me to claw it back. So it brings the difficulty down to 0. As you spend significant time on that, and you know what? While we're at it, you can take another crack at it. You're in the computer. You're hot simming. You're in the deep web. You're beyond the black wall.
Suddenly, I've stopped working on this because some strange man asked me which pill I wanted to take, and it's far more fascinating.
Do you have both? Is the real question.
Welcome, Haifa, to the desert of the reef.
Yeah, he has this whole story about humans being used as batteries, which is inconsequential to me. So I told him not to ask.
Computers engineering for the station. Because really, you're just stocking up a momentum at this point. Because it's a 0.
Computers engineering for the station. I got it.
It's already been rolled.
Oh, okay.
And no matter what you roll on your challenge dice, you're going to get at least 1 more. So, blammo. The shuttle is done on paper, so to speak. It is a paper shuttle.
What do we have to do to build it?
You need to get a shipyard someone who has command authority over a shipyard to allow you to build it.
We have a dry dock here. That's why I built it here. So I'll have to visit the captain.
We shall roll over to Ryloff.
Oh boy.
If you would regale us with your personal log or professional log, and give us an idea where and why you are.
Stardate 60576-6. Imperial Liaison's Office, or Officer to Starfleet's personal log. Presently, after the recent events involving a multitude of unique facets coming together, we're now looking at wrapping things up and hopefully having some sort of period of relative quiet. At least that would be preferable, though knowing the track record of Starfleet, unlikely. I need to go through and make various different reports to the temporal fleet and temporal investigations, and it's likely that I will need to spend various amounts of time talking to and discussing protocols or rules and temporal prime directives with specific individuals. I also might, funnily enough, time providing, see if I can't speak with the in theory in regards to some similarities our peoples have and different directions that might happen to be leading them. And log.
Whereabouts are you, Centurion?
That depends on what I still have to do.
Well, you'll probably have your debrief with temporal affairs, because you were the command. You're one of the command officers of the Da Vinci, which is in the middle of it, and you're the relevant temporal officer. So I'll ask from you a presence command difficulty 1 to kind of lay out what happened and answer the questions to the best of your ability.
Mm-hmm. Presence command. Oh boy. Well, I can't imagine Star Navy protocols helps with that one.
It would not, no.
Potentially either team dynamics or investigative techniques in terms of outlining the situation as it was examined.
I'll take team dynamics because you are ostensibly a foreign officer sharing information with a civil authority from another group. You know what I mean? You're talking to the temporal affairs, but you're actually from the Romulan Star Navy. Which I imagine you make a similar report to your counterpart in the Star Navy, which is this whole other thing. This is just temporal affairs for the Federation.
Yeah, I've got to make some temporal report to the Romulan side of that, which is, ironically, they're all connected.
Yeah.
Because, of course, they are. That's why this is happening at all, and I don't imagine the rest of those have any input. I'll give you a threat.
You generate 2 as you're able to answer all their questions. A lot of the questions it's very different than the debriefs you do for Starfleet or even Starfleet security in certain scenarios. Temporal affairs is a lot of confirming what happened. They seem to have the people who interview you largely don't have a full scope of what happened, and they're trying to get you. They try to basically clarify everything you already made in your report, and you practically have to go back through everything step by step, timestamp by timestamp, what happened and when it happened, and a lot of "Are you sure? How do you know that?" sort of questions, and then lots of note taking.
The fun thing is there's an additional second timeline that we're aware of. That makes things fun.
Yeah. But eventually you're let go by them. They do alert you that there may be follow-up interviews based on questioning and testimony in over the coming week. So try to stay within the Federation if possible.
Huh. I imagine this is where I also get scolded for telling someone something they shouldn't have known before they should have known it.
Yeah, that's where you're highlighted to the we have an official notice that you are in violation of temporal regulation such and such under such and such, but given your current situation and position, we are mitigating that. But it is so noted in your temporal file.
Yeah, especially given he's now getting an office in which he's officially supposed to know all of these things now.
Yeah.
Lovely, thank you. That's out of the way. How long did that take? Do I have time to do other things or no?
You have time to do other things. It's quite lengthy. It ate up a good half of your, a good chunk of your morning, if not your entire morning, just sitting there talking to them.
Yeah, then would like to see if we can't talk to some, in theory, ideally someone, roughly equivalent or higher rank. It's not. I technically am the Imperial State Liaison to Halanak, or the FIS. So, but that's just the way they want to run things, and the way that they have professed several things has several parallels to the way the Imperial, the Star Empire has done things, or such. So it's just a conversation. In which we might try to push them away from some of the mistakes that have been made.
Are you seeking out someone in the a member of the commissariat, one of the representatives to the assembly, to a member of the attack swarm?
So what's the crossover between these? Because I believe their representatives are also military? Or former?
Their representatives are representatives. Members of the attack swarm are military. But actually, you know what? I'm going to give you I'm confusing systems. Give me a second. My brain was about to say something that made no sense. Give me Insight Command, difficulty of 2, assisted by station's computers command, as you're trying to wrap your head around precisely how the in theory work, because they are very alien to how the Romulan bureaucracy works.
Their bureaucracy is entirely different, yes.
Yeah.
Which is funny, given there are weird similarities going on. So, and weird, it's expected of some time.
Aliens be weird.
Investigative techniques.
I will.
I'm digging through and trying to find things.
I will take it.
Lovely. And what was the difficulty again? Sorry.
2.
Does the trait of Romulan State Liaison help, hinder, or do nothing?
It will help. I'll let you shave off your difficulty, because you're given a lot more latitude as in that role as you would just any regular officer.
Yeah, it's also, if I don't understand it, I can be like, here, we're trying to actually get basis of collaboration here. I'm not some random dude asking. we're supposed to vaguely work together.
Yeah.
I'll give you a momentum,
What's wrong there?
and then make that and a float, apparently.
Plus station.
Oh, plus station. Would you like to get that, Serana? Serana has died. I don't know, was that long live the slime?
I said yes. Sorry, I
Oh.
was muted because I was eating. I don't see the station on my. Oh, here it is. It's a green circle. Okay, was the station rolling?
A computer's command.
Well, luckily for you, that's like its best roll. That's not true. Its best roll is engines, which is pretty ironic for a thing that can't move.
Engine science, let's go. Engine engineering, actually. That's to float, okay.
Oop.
And I have a question to, or I have an advantage to potentially make on that, if it's permissible.
It depends what it is.
That the individual found, or perhaps a small group found, depending on how this would work, is maybe someone that has some crossover. Like, they might not be currently serving in a swarm, but they might have been a well-known figure in a swarm that they're now in the commissariat, or however that works.
I'll let you word that a little more precisely once I give you some information here.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So, how to start from the beginning? So, the commissariat of Taitara represents the various free individuals of, in theory, that make up the species in theory. There is no, on their own, there is no traditional government per se. It's just kind of do what you think is the best course of action, but keep in mind that other in theory may oppose you, and you must take that into consideration. So that makes interacting with them difficult, but thankfully the Apantari have figured out ways to work with this commissariat, this common goal of, because they at least the one uniting factor is they will defend themselves from threats. If they think there's a threat to the in theory as a whole will oppose whoever that is. And even if it means flying out without spaceships and shooting their own personal ray guns at things from their bodies, they will. Thankfully, they've since gotten ships thanks to the Apantari. So, then they had to figure out some sort of governing body to organize and collaborate with the other two species, the Apantari and the Savix caste. So the in theory were asked to send representatives. Now, in their case, they basically found whoever was most willing to do it, or most excited to do it, but also people who seemed the most knowledgeable about in theory affairs. So some random guy who likes looking at purple flowers a lot, that's nice, but we don't need an expert in purple flowers. We need you to understand what, xenopolitics and engine systems and economics and such like that. It's like, okay, well, maybe purple flower guy shouldn't go. He may really want to go, but, there'll be a fight on it. So there's a bit of a mix of people who are military, but everyone in the commissariat considers themselves defenders of the in theory. If the in theory are attacked, that's why the militia rose. To them, that wasn't unusual. That if there's an existential threat, everybody fights. The attack swarm is just the only one that has proper spaceships with like nuclear bombs on them and stuff. So if you were to talk to anybody, your nearest counterpart would be someone who serves or has served in an attack swarm, because they'd be the most knowledgeable about militant affairs, or up-to-date militant affairs, because every, in theory, would say to you, I know about military stuff, but then again, they all think that.
They kind of all like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So some representatives are military, but then again, all of them would say they are, but some of them have served in the attack swarm, some currently do serve in the attack swarm, some serve at certain times when they feel like it. The ranking system is for dealing with aliens, so you know who you're supposed to talk to. So you have a rough, after talking with and asking the computer about roughly who you should talk to in various spheres, you get rough approximations of like a collection of like 5 or 10 different in theory who, like, if you asked who's the minister of science, it's like you'd get like 10 different people. We're all considered scientific experts in the theory.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, looking for ideally a representative that has had or still does do swarm such things, or a group of them, because they apparently are in groups, and that seem uh, which government section are we looking for here for this? Which body of representatives? Probably culture. Culture or defense.
Okay. Do you want to you want to find a particular person on station, or do you want to try to call a meeting of a bunch of them?
We'd like to talk to, an individual, but if the individual would like this to be a bigger meeting because his peers would like to be in, that's fine. It's we're asking to talk to one. If the one wants to have others involved, that's their call, but we're not.
Oh, don't worry. The one is perfectly thinks that they are the expert on the matter.
Oh, I'm sure. It's more of a, we're not trying to pull strings and make ourselves look like the big person here, so we're just willing to talk to one. That's fine.
From that roll, you have 3 float. Is there anything you wish to do with that?
And this was just finding a person to talk to rather than actually talking to them, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was just you figuring out who it was you could and would be relevant to talk to. Basically brushing up on your xenoculturalisms of the theory.
Yeah, I mean, if we can spend 2 for an advantage that they are a particularly fitting individual to have chosen.
Someone who at least is very familiar with Romulan stuff, so there will be less confusion.
Yeah, there's less explaining needed in terms of like, yes, I know we've got great differences in terms of we have a running government.
Yeah.
However, the basic principles by which we choose to handle things are oddly adjacent. And then 1 float. I don't know what question to ask for this one, actually. I get what's their what swarm was it that they did serve with or do serve with? Like what's the duties of that swarm?
There is but the one attack swarm, because their fleet is very small. And that is the
one we've been dealing with.
The one you've been dealing with. Name
escapes
me.
Hit us with a nuke.
The cooperative, the commissariat, the Clot Metro attack swarm.
Okay, lovely.
And it is you're able to set up a meeting with the Xeno Advisor Militant Ite.
Okay.
But we'll get to that meeting in a moment, because it takes you a bit to pour through it and go, no, not this person, not this person. Oh, there's like 20 of you.
Yeah,
which one of you knows about Romulan things? Okay, there's 5 of you. Who will answer my call first? This one does. Let's go with that one.
Yeah.
So I'll swing over to Kovik or Seirana.
Seirana is... If you want to go first, that's fine, or I can go. Whatever works.
Sure. Thank you. I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah. Personal log. Start date. 6057 6.6. I almost referred to myself as the wrong rank. Captain of the Stars, full Captain of the Stars, Seirana. I still have to get used to that new title. I never thought I would make it this far, and I'm being honest, I never thought there would be this much pressure on me. We've returned back to the station. Diplomatic negotiations are to begin shortly with the two rival species of Harbingers, or rival factions of the species. It, I'm worried for the results because even if they settle this dispute between themselves, that resolves not their debate with the N theory, which remains a very delicate and tense scenario. The best news out of any of this is that, well, it has, for better or for worse, it has hardened my loyalty to the state. I realize now that I cannot waste time on frivolous matters that are only to my own benefit. I am part of a much larger whole, a much more glorious whole, and I must work. I must work with all of my might to keep that whole safe and secure, and well, still existent if it comes to that. And as part of that, I am continuing my efforts to expand the FIS's defensive capabilities. It's slow work, but, well, this news is nothing. This news has been nothing if not scary for many people, and there's nothing people like more than increasing the military's budget when they're scared. And Locke.
Whereabouts is the Captain of Stars?
I would like to I would like to I want to do two things. I want to I want to just kind of walk along like the promenade of the like main commercial deck. Oh, it's escaping me. It's like deck 5 or 6. The one that's got all of the
Well, promenade-wise, it would depend on what level you're looking to, because there's the cultural exchange levels, and then there's the recreational, shared recreational facilities, the various laboratories and lecture halls, observatories, all that stuff. So they each have their own, because each of these levels have their own thing that they dedicate to. It depends what section you're in.
In their own kind of person who visits them regularly. I want to go to the I would enjoy going to the cultural exchange level because I want to get a sense for the mood of everyone here. I want to get a sense for like what the public of both the FIS and our allies is feeling right now.
Yeah, as you go about the various and see various people coming and going through the historic and artistic exhibition halls and museums, and some inside a facility, some in the main promenade area, depending on what it is. Of course, the primary theme is the various free information sphere species, so a lot of Upatari art and theory art, Savix Cust art. But the new addition is the various Alpha Quadrant and even and Beta Quadrant species outside of the Shackleton. So a bit of Klingon art, a bit of Romulan art is coming here or there. Government pre-approved, of course. Various Federation species. So they're starting to make a slow integration. But how does the free information sphere or the Infospherians feel about it? Well, it's an info. Insight plus command or science, I would say. Difficulty of 1.
Yeah, I'm just picturing her looking at like an abstract painting from Earth and stroking her chin and dreading and saying, "I don't get it." Okay, insight command.
It's weird that the blob wouldn't get the idea of blobs on the canvas.
Focusing cultural studies.
Oh, that's a focus. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah.
Okay. I All right. You said diff 1.
I did.
All right. Take a momentum.
Sorry.
Here we go.
Gain 1 back. Among the Infospherians, the general artistic expression and some of the focuses of historic note. I mean, there's the tried and true that are always there. You know, how the Upatari met the in theory, how the cooperative was, the interstellar cooperative was formed, and why that matters. The interplaying of colors, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, okay, so there's, you don't feel from that you can tell that the core of the Infospherians hasn't been broken or shaken or despaired in any way. So people still really believe in the infosphere, in the free information sphere. But you're starting to see an embrace of alien ideas, which the infosphere is glad to take on. The idea, one of the founding principles of the free information sphere is unity without boundaries. And so there's always taking in new information, whether it's scientific, cultural, artistic, whatever it may be, and people are glad to be grabbing onto it. There is a tilt toward the militant, though. There is more interest in the military history of the Federation, the military history of the Klingons and the Romulans. And in theory art, it's starting to have an uptick. But there is still a counter movement to that. There's a counterculture movement against that push. But it's kind of a... the only reason you really know about it now is because you went walking about. This isn't common knowledge among most Infospherians. But you get that, putting your finger to the pulse of Halanaxation, as it were. You feel there is that push and pull going on now. People are considering militant ideas a little more closely. Although some, of course, are pushing back against it, since the Infosphere is largely a non-aggressive... anti-conquering or imperial organization. But people are exploring ideas of how that could be different.
Yeah. I will feel very Machiavellian. And I know that word because I got to see an exhibit all about Machiavelli. I feel like, that guy from this place called Italy, I think he and we would have gotten along great. I did try the pasta though. No.
Does it gel well with the gel?
With the
really.
gel, yeah. So yeah. I'm going to take this all as a very positive sign that my efforts are working, and I'm going to continue what I've been doing. So may I make a roll at the extended task, representing me reaching out to more contacts, trying to use this to my advantage to push through pro-military funding bills?
There it is. I found it. You certainly can. Give me... Are you... Actually, I'll ask. In what manner are you pushing the agenda? Are you pushing it, are you going among the art and historic community and trying to push them to kind of enforce the idea upon people a bit more? Or are you going back to where the assembly members are and trying to whisper in people's ears and have meetings and stuff?
Well,
or are you doing speeches on promenades and proclaiming the new idea?
Fun fact for Winchester, who I'm pretty sure wasn't here for this. A couple episodes ago, there was a moment where the End Theory.
Oh, yeah, right.
Excuse me?
No, go on. Yeah.
There was a moment where a group of End Theory wanted to fight the Harbingers, so they decided to form their own citizens' militia of their ships and charge at them. And in order to prevent an incident, the Da Vinci took several pot shots, or the Da Vinci intercepted them from taking the pot shots and weathered the blows themselves. And someone, an unknown actor, grabbed that footage and submitted it to news networks to propagate. And so what I would like to do is I would like to see if I can. Yeah, you know what? You know what? I was gonna say, oh, why don't I go on the news? No, 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 I can't. I can't go on the news and like become like a Fox News contributor ranting about we have to invade another country. No, I have to like no, I'm going to sure, I'm going to yeah, I will reach out to artisanal contacts, and I want to you know, introduce people to the idea that maybe we should be making some more art about, you know, the importance of the nation and defending it.
Give me presence, security, difficulty. It was going to be 2. I'm going to up it to 3 because you happen to come across. You're going to get some. You know that you have to overcome. You're trying to get them to speak a little stronger or express themselves more strongly. And in the free information sphere, people are opinionated, but there's a certain level of harmony that's trying to be enforced. So you're trying to get them like, no, no, no.
You don't want them to be mean, but I want to get them like to get into the mud with it.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of an extra push. So it's difficulty 3, so it's a little more difficult than you thought it was going to be, but you know there's going to be some pushback. But if you argue well enough, they may take you up on the idea, especially in theory artists. And theory artists will kind of do that anyway. it's getting Upantari artists and Savage Cast artists to take up the cause.
Yeah, I want people making very, you know, glorious, detailed, loving designs for what our beautiful warships could look like and the kind of havoc they could wreak, all in the name of defending the nation. Okay, you said difficulty 3, you said presence, security. This is an 11, and I was going to say, can I use my focus in cultural studies? But it doesn't matter, because my security is 1. Okay, prestigious in the FIS. A lot of people know my name, and my name means something to them.
I would say so. Yeah. So you're not talking to just any old artist. You're getting some more prestigious artists.
Okay. That's dropping that down. Yeah. Okay. Sure. We'll go 1 momentum, 2 threat.
2 threat.
Oh, wait. The challenge dice you roll is based off of the discipline you do, right?
Yep.
Oh, this was a bad idea. This was not the right way to approach it. Okay, well, I'm committing. Sure. You know, the freedom of choice is the freedom to make bad choices.
You have 3 challenge dice. Because 2 plus.
Oh.
2 plus.
Okay. Well, I'll roll 2 more. Oh, it didn't. Okay. Well, we're rolling.
1,
Sorry.
2, 3, 4.
It did
it's
not
okay.
update until okay.
I'm on to your games, trying to manipulate the votes.
Yeah. No. We can't go public with that rhetoric yet.
That is. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I jumped way too far ahead. So, I'm typing all the wrong things. So first off, 1, 2, 3, 4. I was right the first time. You have 2 resistance. Oh, wait. I'm awake, I swear to God. So, we're going to walk back that roll. I'm going to refund you what you spent. Do you give me any threat?
I spent, I believe, 2 momentum and 1 threat. That sounds right.
You know what? I'll just give you it because I biffed it completely. So the difficulty is based off of difficulty 4, not the lower difficulty. So, well, no, it still works. You still would have hit 4. It would have been 3. You still would have hit 3. So that just means you get 1 momentum instead of 2. Okay, that still works. We're so okay. Everything's fine.
We're good. We're good.
There is resistance of 2 still left. There's some other things we took into account that pulls down resistance. So you're only doing 2 work, so there's no breakthrough happening here, unless you spend to penetrate or or add extra work.
Yeah, can I spend? It's 2 momentum to get rid of 1 one resistance, right?
One is for two. One gets rid of two.
Okay. So I'll spend one for piercing and one for getting rid of resistance, and that would give us 1, 2, 3, 4, and then can I spend one more for another victory to then have? Oh, wait, no, piercing covers that, so that would be a breakthrough, right?
Yep, you have a breakthrough here.
All right, that's all I wanted.
So yeah, you're able to. You've found some like-minded. It takes a bit of digging around and asking around, but you are prestigious enough and influential enough that you're able to find. Upentari artists are a lot easier to get to because solidarity. So and you are more solid than others, to put it that way. So they kind of catch on, and they're like, "Oh well, if you think that, then yeah, I can start expressing that ideology, and try to go more that way." And besides, we haven't worked with In Theory much on the topic, so it's a topic worth exploring. You do, and also part of that magnitude, you do get that Savix Cast, you do get a pretty severe pushback from Savix Cast on the topic. They really don't like this idea culturally. And you get the feeling that there's one of the things that at least the Savix Cast were worried about when the Upentari made first contact was that they were a conquering party, a new predator to enter their sphere, and the first Upentari basically sold them on the idea of the free information sphere. So this militant bend, you get the feeling that you're going to get some. You may be able to sell the Upentari in the Great Slime at some point. In theory, are pretty easy sell. The Savix Cast are going to be the hardest sell on the whole topic. They, whether or not it's so much so they may dissolve their alliance, you don't know. This is just a bunch of artists that you're seeing that there's a distinct. They are kind of the big push for the information sphere to stay the way it is.
Yeah, traitors.
Yes, and then you can take all the art you don't agree with and have this show and call it something like deviant art, and right across the street have the acceptable FIS art in this other museum. And that'll show them all.
Yeah. A vote for Bart is a vote for anarchy.
I mean, they could just burn it. It's disagreeable. It's heinous.
Yeah. We can go to that point. Just take all.
I think
all
there's
of the art.
Stadium you could probably use nearby.
Yeah.
I hate Friends Mark because horses are not blue.
And there's the books you don't like as well. You can burn them.
Yeah.
Just watch out for the random archaeologists walking around your giant fire.
If he asks you for a signature, you might have done something wrong. On that note, we'll swing the camera over to Kovic.
Okay, so a couple quick questions. Is Kovic actually involved in the inquiry towards harmony with the Harbingers? Like, is he part of that whole questioning and fact-finding process?
He'd be called in, yeah. This is largely a political. This is the order side of Law and Order, to put it that way, and you're the law side of it. So it's one of those, like, you will be called in from time to time, but this is more in the realm of advocates and politicians than it is the harmonizer's office. Okay. But you're going to get called in, or one of your staff. Well, normally one of your staff would be called in, but you were personally involved with a lot of it, so you're the key witness in a lot of the inquiries.
Right. Well, plus my assignment is to help determine whether they're an existential threat.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm interested. Also, is the clock in the upper right quadrant something?
It is. Something will happen over the course of a week.
Okay. Very good. Harmonizer's log. Stardate 60576.6. We've returned successfully to Halanak Station, and the Harbingers have been turned over to the questionable mercies of the political class, as the In Theory continue to be incredibly nervous and dangerous, and oftentimes quite untalk-downable by the more reasonable heads. I'm hopeful that all of this can be resolved without too much more violence. In the meantime, between hearings, I've been making my presence known again on the station, visiting all the usual places, and catching back up with my contacts and snitches and all the other delightful people that a harmonizer spends his days among. The station seems to be going along fairly well, a little bit more tense than usual. Not sure what's going to happen now that Admiral Pend is retiring, and what's going to happen with the various command structures, but not that it really matters. My job will be the same, whoever's running the joint. End log.
Whereabouts is our harmonizer?
He's doing exactly what he says. He's in some, bar, or the drifting through the waiting room of a hollow suite, just kind of making his presence felt, talking to his contacts, talking to various informants, just.
I'm obliged to remind you of your well-informed ability.
Yes. So I will add one threat to you. You get to ask 2 questions about the situation or location. So yeah, what's going on with the criminal element in the station?
What's station security currently? What's its rating, I should say?
No.
5, 6, lower? It's probably
Let me
lower.
pull it up. Security is 3.
3. Oh, I rolled those where you
My
can see.
security is 5.
Currently, there are some minor. There's a couple of pending cases. There's always some minor cases, like minor civil disputes,
Right.
or just things that you have
no.
staff for.
To clarify, I'm not talking about what's going on with the criminal justice system. I'm talking about what are the criminals on the station? What are the people out in the wild? What's going on there?
The general buzz is that there is a rumor that if you are looking for some extra Duskar, some extra Klingon credits, as you will, or even the finance of this Unicreds, which is the free information sphere money. If you're looking for some extra Duskar or Unicreds, you can take on jobs further on the rim of the Shackleton. It doesn't involve moving stuff out of the Federation or circumventing Federation space, going into Klingon space. But your honest folk don't like doing that because it's really out of the way and it takes you through a lot of uncharted space. And Infospherians aren't terribly, even the criminal ones don't like going to places they haven't jumped to before. It's just incredibly dangerous because, as you know, the weapons aren't terribly good for fighting off people. But there is some attempts from in the criminal sphere to maybe take the risk. This sounds like a way to make money without getting involved with the Federation or crossing their path. It does mean possibly doing business with Klingons or Klingon client species. But hey, if you want to make the big money, that's where you're going to go. But no one's really testifying, no one's really whispering that they've done it. It's just a lot of, hey, I heard that. You can make a lot of money. And people are, the criminal underbelly is trying to feel out, one, is it real? And two, is there anyone who's actually survived and made money on it? Because then it's worth going for. Only the truly desperate would go for something blind like that. And really, if you want to go blindly desperate, the Aurelius Consortium will gladly take your money.
Yeah, I have heard this rumor before. I'm trying to figure out where in my notes from somebody where the word was that you could make some serious coin doing some smuggling from that, but whoever I heard it from was saying that it's just so damn far out of the way that it was hardly worth it. Okay.
We're talking
Question-
bars or trade bonds in Unicredit. Like it's a large chunk of money.
Right. Right.
But then again, that's every big heist. You'll be independently wealthy if you do this one big gig. Okay, sure, buddy. They all say.
And then the second question is, what is the mood of the station, both among the permanent populace and the transitory populace? I mean, from my contacts and informants, what
The general mood is, I would say, wariness and caution. Halanak Station was supposed to be a new frontier, a new port town starport to stop to deep in the Shackleton. That was pre-established, well-staffed, very safe, very non-militant governments. So you don't have to worry about that sort of thing. They ask for very little tariffs, but now they're getting into bed with the Federation and both sides of the Romulan Empire, and now there's all this rumbling about a new militant political movement among the free information sphere. No one's running for it, but everyone's keeping a close eye on what's happening here. The jubilant mood of when the Halanak agreement was signed is souring. People are being more cautious when they come to Halanak Station of who they go talk to and who they are seen around.
Right. Okay. New militant movement, eh? Okay. I think it kind of behooves me to track down some more information about this new militant movement. See if I can't figure out. I can kind of guess kind of what's driving it, but maybe who's driving it.
Question for Seirana.
Hello.
Hello. Are you making any efforts to hide your involvement, or are you loud and proud to any person who's recording? Or are you trying to be like, oh, let's talk somewhere else. Let's have this conversation somewhere quieter,
Well, okay. I as much as we like joke about it out of character, I've always been very cautious in character with my statements. It's all about, well, I just want to keep the FIS safe. I just, I want to ensure our federation or our alliance continues. People know, she's open about her political views and her political activism. She just couches it in much more diplomatic language than we use out of character.
Okay. Let's call this Insight Security for Kovic. And Control Command for Seirana. This is an opposed role. Not that Seirana actively knows you're being looked at, but someone could look into what you're doing and blow up and open up what you're doing. And Kovic, you don't know who you're looking for, so you're trying to see, in between the lines, who's really pulling the strings here.
Okay. Trait of hard-boiled detective.
That gets you a plus. Yep.
Trait of intuitive.
I'll take that. That's 2.
Trait of cynic, because my immediate assumption is that somebody's behind this, not that it's growing naturally.
3.
Okay.
Oh, and a reminder, of course, no momentum is generated from this, but you both can buy threat or use momentum because you're both allies.
Right.
For now.
Right.
For now, yes. You're not on my side, let's put it that way.
Investigative
For now.
techniques for a focus.
Yeah.
They're allies until she tries to have Kovic shot for interfering.
It's called political interference.
It's all right. She'll be under deep surveillance before then. We'll nip it in the bud. Nip it in the bud.
Information ain't so free anymore. No.
Hey, that's all I'm doing is gathering information. Okay, so I will give you 2 momentum and 1 threat for 4 dice.
How much that? Sorry, 4.
No, 2 momentum and 1 threat for 4 dice.
Yeah.
And let's see what we can do. Not great, but plus 3, so 6.
All right. Yes, I will spend the same amount of dice as you, to be fair. So, okay. GM, a focus in politics, because I know how to control my rhetoric in a way that is not getting me in trouble with my job.
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay. Control 10, command 4, 14 with a focus. That's pretty good. A trait of political operative. I know how to maneuver the political scene in a way that makes me look less culpable.
+1. Yep.
All right. Prestigious in the FIS. This one I could actually see harming me. That like a lot of people talk about me as a leader of the movement, but also like, could it be that I'm so prestigious you couldn't even think of going after me?
I think that will be the counterpoint to Cynic. Like Cynic's piercing that. Like he suspects you even though you're prestigious.
Okay.
You're still on the suspect list.
So that's 0. It's nothing.
Well, you currently have +2 to your roll.
+2. Okay. +2 to my roll. Awesome. Marvelous games. Okay. So in order to buy 4 dice, did you spend a determination?
He did not.
Nope, just dice and
Okay, just 4 dice.
And the trades.
All right, then I will spend 4. I will spend 3 to roll 4 and activate conspicuous gallantry to try and not have that threat. Okay, so you only get you get 1 less threat. So you get 2 threat.
Roger.
3, 4, 5 plus 2 is 7.
Any rerolls in the future? It's Kovic. It looks like you're 1 short.
COVID.
Kovic's just heading off to Casablanca for a moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was muted. I will spend my determination on everybody has a tell to reroll 2.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's fair. That's fair.
8 versus 7.
So
You know what? 8 versus 7? Ooh. I don't even have anything I should reroll. So, you know what? I'll hand it to you. Good job.
Yeah, it takes significant power of investigation and asking certain people. It's a lot of verifying who it really is, because some people will say stuff, right? Yeah, it's totally Seirana. It's like, yeah, sure. Then again, it's a lead. You'll chase it. Why not? It may go somewhere. Maybe it's someone else, but maybe it is. And then you dig at it more and dig at it more, and oh, yeah. Seirana is the leader of the new militant movement.
Oh, okay.
And recently hasn't directly commissioned, but has been seen meeting with certain artistic and historic figures to refocus their exhibitions on matters that are more positive to the militant movement.
Okay. So, another character question, real quick.
Sure.
As far as I know, I've only committed one crime in this, and that was leaking military footage without authorization.
Right.
Does he know about that part?
I wasn't. I was investigating who was behind the militant.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wasn't looking at anything specifically. I was just like, okay, this is
Okay.
kind of weird. Where's that coming from? I will ask, and these may not apply because they're pretty specific, but Kovic has talents that let him get bonus momentum for information spins for successful tasks to investigate a crime. So I don't know if you want to let those apply, since this is not technically.
You're not
Oh,
in criminality yet, yeah.
Right.
It's a crime against democracy.
Yes.
Well, no, I mean, it's honestly not a crime, but
Mhm.
it is like an investigative thing. So that's why I wanted to ask to see.
Yeah. Lead investigator won't fire.
Okay.
I
think that's
and
it's that and
does not
constable,
fire.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering what their wording was precise. I'm like, yeah, no, it requires to be investigating crime. So
Yeah, that's what I thought, but worth a shot.
Unfortunately, this is not a crime.
Okay, I'm gonna
Unfortunately.
like file that away and tell some of my contacts and informants to kind of keep their ear to the ground about this rise in militancy, and let me know if they hear anything more about that, or about certain high-ranking members of the FIS military, particularly Upentari, being involved with any of this, just without mentioning Serrano's name. But I'm basically just narratively setting it up where I can go back to contacts with well-informed to ask questions about this rising militant thing.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
So noted. What else do you do with your day as you percolate that, and it slowly will drip to you, and then you learn full breadth of it, such as it is.
I mean, the rest of the day, pretty much again, showing up in the various bars and whatever, and just showing my presence. Oh, the harmonizer's back in town. Having little conversations with my own personal quarks. Kind of pulling that Odo thing where he just sort of show up and banter and then disappear. At some point, drop by Coors for coffee and some cleansa, and take a little break, and then ultimately drag my ass into the station to do paperwork.
I will give you Insight Command difficulty 2. You may learn something that's happening on station.
Oh, fair enough.
Not a direct security thing, but you might get the buzz on what the station's up to, or what its staff is up to, both Free Information Sphere and Starfleet. Because Starfleet people use bars too, or Romulan staff.
Yeah. Observation for Vocus?
Sure.
Okay. Difficulty 2. I'll go ahead and give you a threat for a third die just to see if I can make it. Hey. Generate one.
You learned that Captain Thralic, one, you are assured of the knowledge that Captain Thralic will be this new station commander. You already knew that already, but you now know, people know. However, it seems Captain Thralic is tied up thoroughly with the Department of Temporal Affairs. And there does seem to be a bit of a push from the various scientific ministries of the Free Information Sphere, who want to talk to the department officials, who do not want to talk to the Free Information Sphere, and argue that it is in no way part of the Halanak agreement as such. And if you want to debate that, you can talk with our diplomats. And then there's a bit of there's no yelling, there's no pushing and shoving, but you can tell that there's friction because the Federation isn't being forthcoming. And the Information Sphere wants to talk to Thralic, and the Federation isn't letting them. Thralic can't really... From your understanding, it seems that she can't. She can't violate that. She has orders to not talk about it currently with anyone outside the Federation. And as a side note,
Okay.
it seems that Ryloff is meeting with Xenu advisor Militant Ite of the In Theory. For what that's worth.
So much for this being a quiet place just to investigate normal crimes.
Oh,
Okey
and
doke.
Varen
Sounds
Roll
like a
hasn't been
story.
seen doing anything active for a while.
Oh, right. I had to track down in my head who that was really
Yeah,
quickly.
the Telshiar guy hasn't been seen for a minute. That's bad.
Another day, another dollar.
Oh,
You make it sound like he died or he's gone missing. What do you mean we haven't seen him doing anything active? What does that mean?
It means he's been quiet.
Means he
No,
hasn't been
but, like,
seen
has
at
he-
bars. He hasn't been seen talking to anyone. Like, no one's really seen hide or hair of him. Hell, if Kovac hasn't seen him for a while.
But like he has a job, right? Has he been coming into work?
I mean, he's a liaison.
officer.
Yeah, no one's
So,
gone
I
into
mean-
liaison office recently. That Kovac knows of, anyway. Someone might have met with the sub-commander, but no one that Kovac knows.
Is he dead? Are we gonna walk into the office and realize he died and then feel like bad coworkers because we didn't know this for like a week?
Yeah, is
No.
there any kind of smell of like dead Romulan funk coming from the office beside mine? 'Cause that's where he
Well, Ryloff
works.
is pretty rough and tumble. No,
That's
he wasn't
fair.
enlisted after all, so he's in a proper family.
Even if you're from a proper family, you have to be enlisted.
Well, I mean, there's enlisted, then there's enlisted. You would know
Uh-huh.
the difference if you're born properly. But no. For a momentum, I'll clarify.
Sure.
He's just keeping himself.
The sub commander seems to be doing largely what you've been doing. Like you're able to look through the logs and see where, like according to the internal sensors, where the sub commander's been. And you notice that they seem to have been floating around. Whereas you've been going into bars, sitting down and talking to people, or listening over a drink or smoke or something. The sub commander is doing similar, but they're like in service passageways and vantage points and crevices where people might not notice that he's there, that sort of thing. So doing a lot of the same thing you've been doing, just a lot more quietly.
So he's been both observing and meeting with people in dark alleys.
Not meeting with people, just watching certain conversations and certain people, following certain people. Not interacting with anyone. That's why everyone lost track of them. The only reason you know is because you have the harmonizer's office and you can check
Right.
where is this person on my station. Oh, they're here. Because the subcommander, surprisingly, did not take off their station communicator, so you can contact them. So you're able to track where that is. Mind you, this person could have handed it off to somebody, but you're able to verify quickly. Oh no, that's a Romulan signature. There's only so many Romulans on the whole station.
Right. Yeah, he wants us to think he's being right out in the open. Well, not appearing to be. I understand.
But with that, we roll over to Haifa. After a full day's gentle recuperation in the holomatrix.
What about Haifa?
It's another day, another hour, another moment in Haifa's life. Captain Thralic, you are informed that Captain Thralic is very busy with the Department of Temporal Affairs and is not available.
All right.
The next in line would be for the station would be Captain of Star Sirana.
Wait, hold on. Do I need anyone's permission to use the dry dock, being the chief engineer?
Insight Command difficulty 1.
I think the issue is this is outside of your normal duties. You're not using it to perform regular maintenance on a ship. You're using it for a different project.
But we've already been given a green light for the program.
Oh, that's true. And I did remember I asked, like, are we getting a budget for this? And they said, no, it can come out of the regular Halanak budget. So I think that might be a green light for you to just be able to do this.
A trait of project manager.
I would say that. Yeah, I'll knock it down to 0. You have a pretty good idea how projects like this should work on a station like this. Yeah, that's 3. It's a courtesy to let Station Command know that you're doing this, but yeah, you're right. You're the chief of engineering, and you've already gotten political will behind at least trying the prototype, so you don't have to check in. It's just a nice thing to check in.
All right. Then I will.
Oh, sorry. I'll highlight one thing. I almost forgot. This is important. For the time being, the prototype is under your... In a command structure, when you build the thing, it falls under you until it's approved, until you say it's safe for usage, like it's safe to be used for something else. So it can't be yanked around by other departments because it's your ship that you're building and your project you're messing with.
All right. Then I'm going to start organizing the construction. And since I undoubtedly won't be here for all the day-to-day, and I sense the need for a greater number of solid engineers. I'm gonna get Click to come help me. I'm percolating the idea that Click is soon gonna have to accept a commission.
Back the hive as an officer.
I feel like there
No,
has to
command
be a
the
clause.
hive. Send the signals.
Oh! Can we change his rank to queen? Yeah,
Click.
Oh,
will-
is he
Click
gonna get
will-
a sex change?
Click will metamorph into the queen. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Is there a clause in the Halanak agreement that says we have to have a relatively well-adjusted person as our chief engineer? Not to say that Click isn't well-adjusted, but you know.
Hey, as long as they pass Buster of the relevant command staff and attend to their duties.
God. I didn't want to have to bust up the hitman this early.
I guess Starfleet has to have like a if your new command position would force a major bodily change to you. Like if you have to change your sex or gender to assume your new position, you get like a month to just go handle that before you got to come back and start your job.
Okay, where is he?
Reassignment leave. Oh, for reassigning to a new post. That's not what we mean, but...
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Oops, no. So building the prototype, work 14, magnitude 2, resist 2, just because it's a lot of getting stuff fitted together and fastened together and not wasting too much time on stuff you don't want to do or don't need to do. But fairly low difficulty because you are in a dry dock, you are building it here, so it's just a matter of cracking away at it in the relevant level. I believe that's level 1? No, other way around. No, that's the arrival plaza. Yeah, no, that's where it is. It's on 1-2. Yeah, level 1-2, dry dock facilities. So you're not in the tendrils reaching down away from the station, but you're further up into the body where the dry dock is. But they do have like little smaller tendrils that kind of pull it away. Like you can build it within the station at first, so you can walk around on like solid ground. But eventually, you have to once it gets big enough. But it's scale too, so you can actually build it like in. It doesn't have to leave the station for you to continue building it. You can just build it on the deck.
Well, Haifa has spent most of their career working in Stardocks, just not as a lead. So I actually want Click to lead. And can I assist as presence engineering?
You could, yeah.
Because I'm trying to build up the engineers below me.
Control engineer.
Actually, is Click? I take it. This is just for my reference. Is Click finished, or can Click be upgraded more?
He can get one more value.
Okay, I guess that would come from today.
The one more value being commands the hive.
Orchestrate the hive, maybe.
Yeah.
More.
Okay, work 14, mag 2, resist 2, diff 2.
Yeah, if you can, if we can do all 14 work in one go, which is going to require momentum and threat probably, then it's just finished.
Okay. So it's okay. Click will spend his determination on I don't need to see in order to do what needs doing. Although he can see now, but if you'll take that, that is.
Oh, what was it again? Sorry.
I don't need to see in order to do what needs doing.
As a value?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can spend to that.
Okay.
Does Click still not have eyeballs?
He
Yeah.
does. He has cybernetic eyeballs.
Oh, okay.
Cybernetic bug eyes.
Yeah. Well, cybernetic, like, what do they call those? What are bug eyes actually called?
Compound eyes.
Compound
They're
eyes,
actually
thank you.
Like a bunch of tiny, like partial eyes.
Right. EPS systems for focus?
I'll need something more broad than that, unfortunately.
Repair protocols?
Comp increase.
Sure.
Related to what I'm thinking.
Okay, and then kind of want momentum, so I will give you. Let's do 5.5 for 4. And just do a full mint there, the equivalent of
Using red and green or
red.
all red? So full mint, you say? Wow, full mint
Yeah,
plus your thing.
well, to 4, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
total of 5. Yeah.
Right.
And would you take a focus in Starfleet Protocol from me?
I would, yep.
Does Click do you have a 5 in engineering?
Yes,
Okay.
and threat spin also activates bold for him.
Oh, I don't know why. I tried to change the complication back up to 2, but I changed the task roll.
Okay, so here is bold. Wow.
Maybe I might suggest Click burns the eye value, right? How much longer is he going to need that?
Yeah, but my other 2 are protect the hive, and you'll have to get through me. So
Do we have a mission directive?
Not currently.
So, I mean, I can see burning it, but I don't have anything to spend it on.
Plus, I would contest burning it because he used it to work on this test.
Mm.
You'd have to burn
Well, let's
something
see.
else to spend into that. Prime directive is always active as a mission directive, but that wouldn't apply here.
What if I burn? You'll have to get through me and spend it on. I don't need to see in order to do what needs doing.
Narratively walk me through it. I feel it, but I'm trying to see. I'm trying to complete the story in my head.
Okay, so you'll have to get through me, is getting in my way because okay, so Click coming out of like combat engineering, he's, and it's one of the things that's kind of held him back for a bit at the specialist level is his whole thing is to kind of bow up and to always be on the lookout for threats. And so he's working really closely with Haifa, and so his kind of natural defensive mistrust of things is kind of getting in his own way, because he's kind of not letting Haifa help as much as he could, and not really taking Haifa's advice and direction to heart as much as he ought to be. So his kind of natural defensiveness is holding him back.
I'll take that. I'll let him challenge that. Yeah.
Okay. And then to reroll 2. There we go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with the determination spend. So gain 5.
Boop, boop.
I'll immediately spend 1 of the float on resistance.
Okay.
So, which brings us to, how many float did we have? 2?
You had 2. There's 1 left.
1 float left.
You're gonna need it for work.
Yeah, but I don't think I can.
Yeah, as long as the task is not over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll leave that there for a sec. 7 challenge dice. Let's go ahead and use 1 float to re-roll the whiffs. Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6. I count 6.
So if you spend the momentum on the table and give him 2 threat, then it's built.
Yeah, let's do that. 6 momentum, 2 threat to finish the build.
You spend a significant part of today, of this new day, building this thing rapidly. The good thing is that a lot of because it's so well built on paper, it is a matter of just grinding away, just the hard labor of building it, getting the machine, and instructing the computer on how you want things moved and stuff like that. But yeah, between the two of you, and the facilities of the dry dock at Halanak Station, you are able to build Haifa Prototype Alpha. Record time, no less.
This is a question, Jim. How can you pull up the sector map and show us how far? Oh wait, the not the sector map, the overall Fed map. So I know the Da Vinci's QSD has light year limits. Does a FIS QSD have sector limits?
No, because the quantum substance drive that the Federation uses, it only works for a certain amount of time before it shuts off, because it'll burn out.
Okay.
Your system does not have that problem, because they can, in theory, just warp to wherever. Well, slipstream to wherever.
Universe just opened up.
All right. Then, being like in the cockpit, running, initial checks, I'll turn to Click and ask, when was the last time you were home?
Home. It's been many years since I visited the hive. Not the portable hive, but the real hive. The home hive.
I say go ahead and send in a departure request to Serana for one QSD trip to wherever home is.
Quick to Halanak Station.
Cut over to. Nope, wrong one. I did it again. Sorry. I have too many maps. I know, it's a thing I would never say. Yeah, say Rana, you get pinged.
Halanak Station here.
The molt is complete and the wings are dry. We desire to test.
That's nice.
QSD shuttle, it is complete. Now we must fly.
Okay. Specialist, could
Click.
you? Yes, click. I knew that. Could you please put your commander on the line?
Click like shrugs 4 shoulders and
This is
Jelly
Commander
wishes to
Haifa.
speak with you.
Haifa. Okay. I believe Click was asking permission to disembark. You are taking the shuttle for a test run.
We're gonna start trials. Yes.
In the background. Returning to the hive.
Very well. If you believe the ship is ready, then the ship is ready. You are clear to dock, or you are clear to undock. I am told it's a good Earth ritual before a ship's maiden journey to smash a, what was it? Some bottle of fermented plant along the side of the ship. If you are 10 degrees superstitious, I recommend you do that now.
There are
I'm not from Earth.
Yeah, we kind of don't have any humans here. I only look like one.
I just pay one on TV.
I turn to Click. I say, what do the Zindi do to christen a ship?
But we have no time for that. Ship wings are dry, ship flies. Seriously, we lived for 12 years. We don't have a lot of time to waste on ceremony.
The other is indie, sure.
You're not aquatic.
Then we will forgo any ritual sanctification.
Very well. You're free to disembark.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like on the big map, Zindi space, if I'm remembering my Starfleet star charts, or stellar cartography box set, is
Okay.
like, yeah, I mean it's Zindi home space was somewhere like in here.
Somewhere. Oh. Don't step to
Where's
center.
Earth?
Stop stepping. Earth's here.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, it was like over here somewhere.
Do they not have on this map the what's it called? The weird space?
No, because it got dissipated at the end of season 3, I think.
That's how long it's been since I've watched it. I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at all of the names, and I don't see Zindi. I would imagine it's relatively close to Seoul, but
Yeah, and I remember like the Expanse or whatever it was called was this way in the stellar cartography book. And speaking of stellar cartography, let's just visit that site.
Well, I assume it should be now in the Federation, so it might be in like this sector.
Yeah, it's probably somewhere here. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was marked on here as one of the big like Benzar. Like I can see Benzar, I can see Vulcan.
It might be. It's just there's so many names.
Phyllis
It's
Prime.
easy to miss.
Not way further out, because Kate like way down here, surprising. No, that's a Romy cluster. Turkey, that's too far.
What even happens in the southern bit of the Federation? Like, there are just no planets out in the part south of the Tholian Assembly. Is this like Antarctica? No one lives there?
Well, think
Well,
of it
you're
as the
going-
galaxy arms are spreading out further and
Yeah.
further. So there's like huge gaps between the arms.
Okay. Okay.
The further from core you get, the more sparse the stars would become. There's probably some member worlds that are unmarked out here. It's just like, that's not worth mentioning because no one's really. There's probably somebody out there. Because Galactic Edge is a couple sectors beyond even the bottom of the map here.
Okay.
Not by much though. I think it's like a few
Beta
squares.
Zia, but I don't think that's what we're looking for.
So we'll say somewhere around here.
I mean, it really doesn't matter in this exact scenario because you can just go anywhere.
I'm just seeing how long it'll take.
Not really.
We go tick. So about.
Well,
That's
it's 150 light years every 30 minutes.
It's only 150. I thought it was faster for some.
No. So the Da Vinci can, I think, go 150, right?
150 per 30. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. About
Yeah. So this is going to take like an hour.
an hour to get there. Okay. That should cover most. Well, hell, it should take. Yeah, somewhere within an hour. So as long as you're somewhere here.
It's also I love it because it gets us back it kind of into a traveler mode where there is no way we could tell, like, we could file a flight plan, right? Because anyone who cares what that flight plan says wouldn't get it for like weeks after we got there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is going to reduce the travel time between the FIS and Earth from, like, what, days to hours?
Yeah.
I mean, this shuttle, if the Federation can make a deal to reproduce them, is like tech level changing for the Federation.
Yeah, the
Hence why the Halanak agreement was signed.
the Zindi Council was like located just north of the Hellespont Nebula.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, right there. Pretty much the edge of the weird space was kind of like where the Federation border is on our big map.
Thus, I will
there
ask
is-
for you to program a course of Control Con, difficulty of question mark. 1 second. I haven't had people chart for a while, so it's going to take me a second.
We're gonna have the AI do it. That way, if it fails, it just recalculates.
The one time in Star Trek Adventures where having a high con is useful.
No, there's been several times.
There's
But it's more often it's arguing a legal opinion than actually plotting.
there are rules for making the computer do stuff in here. You do not want to trust the shuttle's computer to do
No.
this. You really don't. I mean, what would a computer know about math? Brain, connect dots. I have thing. Helm. That's why I'm struggling. There we go. Plotting
Actually,
course. Aha.
the computer, I think, would be better than me because it had it's a 10 and a 1.
Click's rolling a 12.
Okay, that's one better.
Reason con difficulty of 3. Assisted by computers con. Chart the course.
Oh, I'm gonna use determination. So let me do it.
Okay. I'll assist.
Value of always doing firsts.
No kidding. I think you're since Voyager messing around with quantum slipstream drive the Federation way. You're the first to actually calculate for the free information, the Infospherian version of this in this new ship. So yeah, it totally applies. 100% applies. I'm just checking something. Don't mind me.
Focus in quantum slipstream drive.
I don't know why that would apply, but yes.
Seems to apply. Yes.
Oh, I have a 1 in con, so it doesn't matter.
Might as well roll for the shuttle.
Computers con or engines con?
Computers con, because you're charting the course.
That's not a complication.
It is if I say it is. No, I mean, yeah, right. 12 would not be a complication.
Yeah.
What does the Legion of Honor do?
Legion of Honor's 2 bonus momentum, I believe. Let me double check.
2 bonus or skip a comp.
Yep, 2 bonus or
Okay.
skip a comp.
Then I'm going to use the Legion of Honor here.
Oh, to quash the one you generated.
Yes.
Thus, that is
So it looks
1
like we
and
gain 1.
Well, no, I spent determination.
3,
So that's
4.
Right.
4.
Is diff 3.
So you generate 1. Boop. Boop.
Actually, though, 100%. If Click is made chief engineer, they will undergo. They will become a fertile female because they'll be commanding people. That's how it works.
Well, you have a long way to go, right? Because an ensign is not a commanding officer. Is not a chief engineer.
Yeah,
Fair.
Good for her.
So you program. Well, actually, sorry, you haven't jumped yet. Sorry. So the two of you have and plus the computer have the envious task, many pilots would say, of right. You have to forget how to do a subspace plot, which you were taught in Starfleet. So you have to now figure out what the free information sphere taught you about quantum slipstream drive jumps, which Starfleet has a little bit on the topic that Haifa is well versed on, but that's for like certain jumps. The math gets a lot more weird, and you have to be very careful where you jump into because you don't get to see what you're jumping into right away. So you kind of have to pick a spot that's near this target system, but not so close you're going to collide with something. You'll get an advanced warning as you approach. That's part of why your sensor system is there. So you're not blind jumping, but you're trying to minimize any need to do that. But you are able to make the calculation. Thankfully, it's a well-known system. It's well within your memory alpha files. It's in your nav computer. Hell, friggin', you have a person from there, or at least a species from there. So, you have it programmed in as best as you can manage. As you're sitting there on the dock floor.
So what you're saying is we need to be sure and come out about 100 diameters from the sun.
That would be advisable, yeah.
I think we should call that the 100D limit.
I would say so. Yeah.
Well, no. That's for the travel we used to do. We have to worry about the 1000D limit here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The computer is programmed in. The computer verifies that you've entered in the numbers. The LCARS does the customary warning as required that this is a test flight calculation.
Like we'll slap that off.
The dry dock hums around you as you sit there on the floor.
We disappeared. There's a whole new game of the Adventures of Click and Haifa.
So everything's ready. We can lift off and go a little bit from the station and hit the button.
You could, yeah.
All right.
Fly, Commander,
lift off.
fly.
You lift off the deck. You start flying forward. As you lift off, you notice that a collection of a gathering of people has appeared on the docks and in some of the nearby observation rooms in the dry dock, as various orange and red shirt folk start gathering to watch the maiden flight as you're starting to get off and lift off. Ooh. You see various free information sphere scientists kind of taking notes, and there's like cameras and everything watching.
Yeah, actually,
Click will...
I'll say the second after she signed you off, she went down to the replicator and hung up a first flight of our shuttlecraft banner over the primary viewport to see it.
Click will
nice.
Click will set the running lights to cycle through Federation and then FIS colors over and over again as we're leaving the dock.
Like blue and white, and then the bronze, the purple, the green.
Right.
And then cycle over and over and over. There's cheering. You can see visible cheering. You see people waving at the shuttle.
A few feet away from the crowd, there's some guy with a cigarette looking out the window, with not much expression.
This is Halanak Station Control to Haifa Prototype Alpha. We read you as having cleared the dock.
This is Haifa Prototype Alpha. We have sent in a flight plan. Pending approval, we will see you in a couple of hours.
Quick slice to the operations. As some of the Starfleet people are like, how do I even file this? And then some free information for your people go, here's how you do it. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but there's like a whole there's like a whole format that you just like pull it off the shelf and you just punch in the information that does it for you. It's not bad at all, guys.
Wow, this is so convenient. As you start moving away from the dock, you see that some of the in-theory lights are outside in the vacuum, and some of them are. They actually make, even though they generally tend to float around the station sometimes, because some of them are just outside, doing stuff or just looking at things or chatting with each other. They actually make a bit of they make a very obvious opening to your exit path. And you can see a lot of them are, your sensors detect that you are being shone upon by the in theory, which amounts to messages. The translator indicates you're receiving a variety of messages of good luck, safe jump, freedom forever, various encouraging messages from the in theory who are watching you take flight.
Oh, I bet that one has good pollen. Ooh.
All right. Once we've reached a safe distance, I will engage the QSD.
The lights inside start flashing blue. You're in a blue alert. No kidding.
Click's vestigial wings kind of buzz together in excitement.
You hear Actually, the thing that strikes you the most in this moment for both of you, you don't hear that power-up sound of a warp drive.
Oh, yeah.
Powering up. It's just this very silent moment where you just punch it in. You see various indicator lights. You see the stars around you start to warp and bend and turn and twist. And then you vanish. From your perspective, you notice that what would be the tumble and stream of lights, it's this incredibly brilliant purplish bluish corridor as you're slipping through the quantum slipstream between stars and space itself. Here.
What was the game that Kirk taught the Kovacs people?
It's not Domjot. It was
Oh, that strange. I know what you mean. That's that weird pseudo card game that he just made up on the spot.
oh, Fizbin.
Thank you.
Yeah, he makes it up to like distract him so he can knock him out.
Haifa will say, well, I don't think anything's gonna happen for like an hour. Do you wanna play around a fistbin?
Sure. Click picks up the cards and then like is able to do that thing where they kind of in shuffling them flies from one pincer to the other.
Haifa, in serious contemplation at the hand that's being dealt, will take a few drags of a dope stick.
As you're flying along, insight, engineering, difficulty of
47.
5.
One or both of us? Or can we
One's
one
leading,
assist?
one's assisting.
Okay.
Ship assists with computers plus engineering.
Focus and QSD or EPS.
QSD.
All right. What was the diff again?
5.
All right. One momentum, 2 threat.
2 threat. Or 5.
This is actually something the shuttle's good at. I don't know why.
It's a
didn't
thing
raise-
since the new update.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is enough on the head. Around the 30-minute mark or so. The first 30 minutes are the least stressful for either of you, because that part the Federation has already figured out. It's once you pass that minute 31 where that's when both of you just kind of, okay, we may want to pay attention to what the shuttle's doing a little more closely in case something goes. This is where things can go wrong. And at first, again, it's that lack of, you're not hearing the telltale noises of anything ricketing or shaking or anything, because that's not how Slipstream works. And you don't get the same things that Paris ran into during his flight through the Quantum Slipstream. His was a lot more rickety and experimental. Yours is combining 2 known sciences into this hybrid system and trying to see what breaks first. The engine seems to be working fine. The computers seem to be working fine. You're not off course. However, there's one thing that Haifa might have not thought about much, but it's part of the protocol. You're a thorough person. You notice that, one thing leads into another, really. You notice that it seems the the shuttle's internal dampers, environmental controls, and air purification systems are about to be overloaded by the quantum slipstream system and are about to be taken offline in a catastrophic failure, which is not fatal to you, will be very fatal for Click over the next 30 minutes.
As in the quantum slipstream drive is drawing too much power.
Yeah, it's starting to pull so much power. It's gonna rather than let the quantum slipstream die itself and cancel, it's gonna vent the extra energy, pull energy off of other systems, and unfortunately, those systems weren't designed to have the system pulled from. But the quantum slipstream takes priority for Fire Information Sphere, because if you don't get where you're going, you're dead anyway.
Is there a maybe easy solution to this? Because the shuttle has 2 secondary reactors. Like, it nearly has as much power as the Da Vinci does. It's actually only one short of the Da Vinci.
How much power do you have?
16.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
It has
10.
more power than Halanak Station.
If you bleed off 10 power, which you can do, you actually can use the reactor power systems to make up the difference.
All right, I do that. I tell Click, unexpected power draws. I'm gonna go ahead and cut over both secondary reactors to full.
Understood.
And yeah, drop 10 power. Because the reason I did this is because even if QSD doesn't normally use power, warp still does. So this ship most of the time should be able to outrun most enemies even at warp.
Yeah, so you're trying to make sure it can maintain that initial distance and just run for it. Yeah, I know. That extra power is enough to carry you to stabilize the system. And 30 minutes time, you pop into existence, and on navigation sensors, you can detect Zindi Prime. I believe that's the correct world.
I'll say, especially if you want to go ahead and send in a flight plan, so they know that we're here and we're coming into orbit of Zindi Prime.
Yes. So Click will send out a hail to Zindi Flight Control.
This is Zindi Flight Control. Identify yourself, or you will be fired upon.
This is Specialist Click aboard the experimental shuttle Haifa 1, testing a new Starfleet FIS slipstream drive. We have just traveled here in half an hour from the Shackleton Expanse. The test was a success with some minor power fluctuations.
Presence command, difficulty 2. Assisted by communications command of the shuttle.
This Click is not very good at presence command.
No, really, we're real. Yeah, sure you are.
The shuttle gives you 1.
Oh, well.
As the shuttle's able to...
Oh, no, that's the Da Vinci. Sorry, I had the wrong ships. Sheets of... But it rolled a 2, so whatever. It rolled a 3, I mean. But I don't think the prototype has command of 3.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, that's a success, but still.
Yep, you hit it on the head. Verifying your friend and foe protocol transceiver. Do not move. You may now move. It literally is that amount of time where they click, see it, and go, oh, you can move now. For insectoid Zindi, that was a really long time. They were double checking.
Haifa goes ahead and files and sends off to the nearest Starfleet beacon a updated flight analysis and addresses it back to Halanak Station out of the necessary protocol, just knowing that I'll get this next month.
Technically I'm supposed to do this, so I'll do it because that's the protocol.
Protocol doesn't envision travel this fast.
Shall we request a berth at the space dock in order to make modifications to the power distribution systems?
Why don't we celebrate at wherever you call home, and then we'll come back up tomorrow and fix it and be off.
Very well. I will introduce you to my line.
2,000.
Well, no, I'm not Denoblian.
Well, you have real. But with that,
Well, I guess it depends on the insect, but I think most worker drones are infertile at breeding. It's only the queen and the breeders.
I mean, yeah, when you get that promotion, you're going to put a Denobulan to shame.
Well, no, actually, I didn't realize it had already been set, but the Zindi are asexual. Every single one of them.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, insectoids every single adult lays a clutch of eggs. So when the time is right, I guess I'll start pooping them out.
Shit,
God.
it just gets weirder.
So, on that weird note,
Oh,
we cut over to Centurion Rylov meeting Xeno Advisor Militant Ite.
Yeah.
Probably, actually, the Xeno Advisor, well, you'll probably meet them after the maiden voyage of the Hypha Prototype Alpha, because it's a big event for the Free Information Sphere. This is, because this is a Starfleet project, but the Free Information Sphere helped with it, and they're like, wow, let's see what the Starfleet's doing. Oh, look at that, that's so cool. Say, Rana, just as a heads up,
Yeah?
you've lost the magnitude due to this.
Oh no!
Because Starfleet looks really cool right now.
Yeah. Oh goddamn.
It also wipes out all the work you currently have built up. So you go from 3 down to 2, work of 11 down to 0.
You entirely did this to yourself. Like, you argued hard for this.
But okay, look, it's been a character evolution. I was much more optimistic when I signed on to this plan, and then 8 million crises later, I learned my lesson and learned, no, actually, we do need the dreadnoughts with 8 million phaser cannons on them.
Yeah, it took like 1 episode to embitter you.
Yeah.
Well, there's this new thing called Achilles class, but we're thinking of new class. That's Kaiser class. Anyway.
Welcome to House
please
Succubus,
do
the
not-
latest
please-
in Klingon
please-
battle technology.
Please don't introduce her to the German Kaiser. That's a very bad idea.
Well, I was thinking
I'm sure
Caesar,
Miss
but you
Serrano's
know.
going for the
I mean, the
class
Kaiser
name.
lost his war, though, so I don't know how impressive it is.
Telling you, a lot of Borels are about to hit the market. The
Mhm.
Aurelius faction can get them for you at a discount.
No, I mean, if I was in charge of the appropriations committee, it already would have happened.
But yes, Ite meets with you, Centurion, and seems visibly, he's of mostly a whitish light, which I will tell you from, because you did some research on them a bit. That does indicate that this person has experienced a variety of light and colors. So they are. It isn't really an indicator of age. It's an indicator of how many different things they've encountered.
It's an indicator of experience.
Yep.
More or less. Yeah. And I believe they, in theory, are capable of seeing the different strands of color that similar to Romulans.
Yep.
Yeah, so he can tell everything from Rylov's uniform that he would need to know if he knows what the colors mean.
What is there for him to note? Because especially as a Xeno advisor who's familiar with the Romulans, he's read up on what these colors mean.
Yeah, I mean, he would know where he's from, so some backwater colony. I mean, he knows, like, he's from a backwater colony or somewhere, like, fringe place. He might not know the planet or system itself, because it's,
Backwater.
not important. But yeah, basically that Ralov is, common. He is nothing particularly unique as far as, officer go. He is security, security and upwards from there. And there would be a lack of any coloration denoting the Imperial War Academy. Because he hasn't gone to the Imperial War Academy, because he can't.
Isn't that on Romulus?
Yes.
That's kind of a problem. You need to get Academy trained. I would, sir, but that is not available to me. Oh, right.
Which technically means by Imperial standing, his rank is,
It is.
like, it's breveted, yeah, like, you're temporarily at this rank until it can be confirmed. Because you can't officially promote anyone without them going through the Academy.
Centurion, you have a interesting coloration that I must commend you for.
Xeno Advisor Militant. If I'm not mistaken, your own coloration denotes substantial experience.
I am, of course, a preeminent expert on many things, though I do prize myself on my Xeno Advisory Militant knowledges.
I'm sure both you and myself know various things outside of our roles that would surprise each other and potentially anyone else outside of those who know us best.
It is always good to keep one's rivals surprised.
Not even rivals. Just something you might enjoy that isn't commonly shared.
True. True. Well, you wish to be advised. I am glad to advise our... Oh. Someone of your background, at least. Your
I am
Imperium
simply a
is
liaison.
something I admit wariness of, but not one I frown upon. It is almost a commissariat, if it tried hard enough.
Funnily enough, it is the similarities between your people, the Inferi, and mine that I would like to speak with you about.
What is it you
The-
would wish to know?
There is much I could learn, but there is much that I could perhaps inform you, and hopefully we both learn from this. That is, after all, one mission a liaison officer has, and I believe one of the taskings of a Xeno advisor militant. See, the Romulan people, well, an immediate parallel is we have a boogeyman from our past, and both have turned out to be real. Ours just happens to be the Vulcans, whereas yours would be the Harbingers.
Yes.
And how we choose to deal with these hostilities from our past has had a rather substantial impact on the Star Empire. From constant attempts at meddling, overthrowing, and destruction, to the ever-growing current trend looking towards reunification.
Whereas we face the very things that devastated our world and eliminated so many lights from the eternal tapestry of the universe. A incredibly heinous crime beyond the, forgive me, petty concerns that your empire fears of the Vulcans. In comparison, if not impact.
I'd say then you might not be aware of how the Rihansu left Vulcan. It was at the point of a sword, and many countless thousands perished, traveling between our homeworld, which was Vulcan, to where we now call home Romulus. The methods and means are not identical, but the story is similar. And our people evolved and chose a militarist path, which initially has gone very well. And in this militarism was infiltrated and taken over by incredible paranoia and individuals with charisma at first, but with a strong desire for control over everyone else. And now we have the Tel Shiar. A mistake that is currently only now, after countless years of the Star Empire's history, starting to be corrected. And that is at great cost. And not even certain. It's not a direction that has happened to the Inferi yet, but similar peoples can learn from each other's pasts, and try to read a little bit into each other's futures from that.
The struggle that I see in the Romulan spirit, in the light that shines within, the confines of the material want. Romans, I find in my studies, are far too attached to titles, prestige, and concern for the Senate and populi, rather than personal excellence for the overall good. Surpass the want for the personal is something the Vulcans try to say to, but they pretend that they are without their wants. I do not suggest you pretend to be without them. I suggest you merely surpass them, grow beyond them. And you too can ascend into this tapestry like we have. Though we do have to give some credit to the Upantari, much to my annoyance. Got to build starships first, after all. But such the crime of the Harbingers to throw us back into our antiquity. I will commend you on building starships faster than us.
Well, I believe we had our history from that somewhat substantially before your own. As for titles, that was one of the few things we had when leaving. No, I do not presume to accuse you of, or your people, of being my own, or the flaws within, for as much as both factions of the Imperium would prefer to say the Romulans are perfect, I will admit we are not. There is much we can perfect, but there is much that we surpass others on. In theory, for your parts, contribute much to the FIS. That cannot be understated, but you have also learned much from working in collaboration with. And that has been in collaboration with under the system that presently exists.
Well, I have to ask you, Centurion. Or, well, I will be forthcoming in respect of the light that you share. What is it precisely you want? It is my study that a Romulan militant officer does not engage in self-actualization and enlightenment and embracement of commissariat without reason or cause. Though I welcome the exchange if that is true. I would very much, I almost want to be right, but I am interested and intrigued if I'm wrong in that regard.
I would call that an astute observation, although what I want is nothing material. I wish to press upon you the mistakes that have been made in the way the Empire developed, in the way the Empire chose to run things, and the factions that rose up as a result of this, and the consequences that are now faced. I wish for the Entheri to bear these in mind. While we are not the same, there are parallels. And I would dread to see your people fall into the same mistakes made by mine.
What
And
mistake
I do
would
see
that...
the trends.
What trend do you see here? And do you speak of the commissariat or the free information sphere? Precision is important.
The free information sphere. Although the direction is one primarily assumed to be in theory. And assumptions can always be dangerous for others looking in from the outside. And then it always comes down to the presumed leaders to make apparent their deviation from that. That's a whole other can of worms to try and look into. No, there seems to be a direction towards arming, militarization, armament, a firm grasp on everything else around the FIS and the FIS itself. And I say this not as a member of Starfleet, for I am not that. I am a liaison officer to both Starfleet and the FIS. And that, I feel, lends me a rather unique perspective on how things have been playing out between both factions. That is if it is not too forward of me to suggest such things.
Do you know where this threat radiates from?
In what manner? I can tell you why I think it exists.
Then enlighten me.
Since the Federation has arrived, and the Da Vinci has been able to partake in various missions and taskings, one, outside polities that might have viewed the FIS as something to keep an eye on but nothing to get involved with, have started to get involved. That is always going to be the case when making alliances or friends. People who are friends with or wary of the friends you're making will pay closer attention. But the Da Vinci also has the means to identify things that previously the FIS's vessels, and sensors and personnel, would just go past. This makes the appearance that the area you live in is far more hostile than you once realized. Reality, it's as hostile as it's ever been. You're simply aware that things are out there now. And I don't mean to say that in the spirit of your own ignorance. Some things are simply hard to notice until you happen to know where you're looking. And you only learn that through experience.
Give me presence command difficulty of 3. If you get the feeling off of his light language, body language is inadequate. He luminesces in a variety, a spectrum of various colors. It almost feels like they're about to shine a whole new spectrum at you, but you're not entirely. You're trying to. You feel like they're going to say something else or tell you something important if you can press upon them the importance of trusting you, or at least listening to you, beyond just exchanging pleasantries. Collaborating is.
You said presence command?
Yes.
Okay.
Or presence medicine if you can, or insight medicine if you think you have a better chance. But
But I do have a medicine score at least. It's better than most can say. We don't have any Admiralty focuses, and team dynamics is possible, but maybe not, maybe so.
Which one, sorry?
Team dynamics.
Well,
I can see both yes and no. And
yes,
both
with
good
complications.
Okay. It's like we're technically on the same team, but we're also talking about how there's divisions. So, you know, I'll take a complication for that focus, though. And I should mark that I do still have a determination because I haven't used it this episode. I'm talking to him because of that. That's not relevant. Do any of the traits that would refer to Rylov as harder to physically read come into play, or is that less relevant because that's not how this individual reads things?
Less relevant. They don't see
Yeah.
that doesn't seem to be. You're not seeming to have a problem expressing yourself to this person.
Yeah, I was bringing it up because they're normally negatives when he's trying to express himself.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I could probably be taking some harsher hits here, but he isn't particularly caring of that. Not that that's a negative. It's, how it is. You said diff 3?
Mm-hmm.
We don't even have any mission directives because we're not on a mission at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
other than,
Prime directive, but
yeah. Or the general Halanak agreement.
mm-hmm.
But I don't even think I particularly need to spend to that at the moment. I will give you, when I can figure out what we have. I feel like rolling. Yeah. That's how that. No. This? Yeah, I'll roll 3 of these. And you get 2.
Oh, I get my 2 back. Awesome.
Yeah. You're welcome. Oh, wow, that's horrific. So, to that end, the determination that we were just talking about. Unless Halanak Agreement is actually one I can find or use a value, potentially.
It'd have to be a value from yourself.
Yeah. Like, he's trying to act within the Halanak Agreement, but that's not a mission directive at the moment. It has nothing to do with the few he trusts. You can't sit around and wait for help by the virtue of he could very much just be going the very official putting in requests and paperwork trails and things like that, which would take a far longer time than just approaching a person to speak to them.
I'll take it, yeah.
There's probably far more diplomatic and polite manners that could be taken. Not that he's not being diplomatic and polite, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. And then don't keep it.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep, made 2.
Do you have a secure data interface? One meant only for your optics to use.
Of course. He'll, reach behind him, take out a little pad, probably touch it, and make the adjustments to it. Because I imagine that seems like a useful security feature to just have in a Romulan device. But if it's a cost, then
I'll take an opportunity for it.
Yeah, I'll give you an opportunity for that. And then,
in that moment, as you're starting to hold it up and hand it to them, you see that the light that you're seeing almost dims for you, and you can see that there is still this luminous person in front of you. You can see that there are various materials and fibers that are gently falling across their body. You can see various flickerings of light and actually for your Romulan eyes, you're actually starting to see those extra degrees of color that you can see being accounted for. You can see little adornments catching every bit of light in the room and transforming it, even the small bits of light of the people behind you who are passing around. Almost like you're looking at a mirror, but it's mirroring not just your surroundings, but the will of the person within the adornments. And then that light just kind of, all of it seems to focus to almost like a phaser beam, except it's or disruptor beam. And you can see it kind of pulsate with a radiant rainbow-ish light, and it starts shining gently toward the pad.
like a data transfer or a data stream.
Yep.
Yep. So if there's anything that needs to be pressed to let that happen, because I'm sure there's got to be an authorize.
You get a data dump.
Oh boy.
To you I reveal the truth. And perhaps upon study, and in your enlightenment, you may be able to advise me in a far more complete way. For I am of the luminous resurgence, and I now know who you are. Good day to you, Centurion. The luminous figure disappears among the just generic whitish light that you've been seeing, and they float away. I'll let you peruse that for a bit.
I'm like, holy god, how many pages is this?
This is not part of the official report you were given when you came here.
Oh, you don't say.
We swapped the camera over to Seirana.
Also, he's probably heading back to his office for reference on the station. Because
Very
he
good.
has one, he just doesn't go there very often.
Yeah.
Hello.
So what are you up to? The new day, you've stirred some hearts, got some new art exhibitions on the go.
Can I check in, call some contacts, see how the thing with the thing with the harbingers is progressing? I know it's probably going to be a while before that's set up, and I just want to make sure everything is still okay on that front.
Give me reason, command, or security. Difficulty of 2. Assisted by computers plus command.
Alright. Take a threat. Focus in politics.
I would say so, yeah.
There we go.
Generating at least 1 so far.
Okay. Computers command already set.
Pardon
So
me,
that's
sorry.
2 momentum.
As station executive and as a leader of a political movement, so you have a lot more reach than your average Upantari might have. You're made aware that there is fervent debate among various ministries as Angela and the Ninth Analyst are being bounced around to various arms of the information sphere. And it would seem there are reams and reams, like even just it's only been like a day or so, and already there is meeting after meeting after meeting, reams and reams of data. But you're able to parse through it to the more pressing points. The main thing that jumps out at you, and you can spend momentum or threat to dig deeper than this, or to expand the scope. But it seems that these people, the Harbingers, very distinctly challenge the creation history, the history of creation for the in theory. And the idea of that there was a pre-species, a precursor species to the in theory. And the in theory, Opatar representatives and Savascast representatives are trying to be very sensitive about the topic and are trying to, like, they're demanding a lot of, what's your evidence, that sort of thing. Like, it's actually starting to be pulled away from their legal struggle and more about, well, how do you know? What are you talking about? Like, they can't even progress until they have corroboration. But the in theory seem very intrigued by the idea. At least the ones that are present at these various. That's why they're being pulled. It's not the Upatari or the Savixcast representatives that are pushing them around out of some sort of shell game sort of nonsense. It's the in theory who are trying to get as many experts as possible to examine the question and the evidence that they're presenting. So the whole process has actually been derailed a bit because now there's this whole existential, I wouldn't say crisis, but existential examination that the in theory are pursuing that, and the Harbinger internal questions kind of being ignored as the in theory don't see it as terribly relevant yet.
Oh my God, there are multiple crises at play here, and I don't think we're resolving any of them. Okay, so they just want to play Indiana Jones. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. They can play Indiana Jones. Okay. They want to play Indiana Jones. Okay. I lost my train of thought. Okay. How is this affecting the negotiations overall?
I'll take a momentum for that. Overall, it is. You get the feeling, it's not being said outright, but you're getting the feeling that the inferior representatives are dragging this out on purpose. Like, you get the feeling they don't... They don't contest that the Harbingers... Well, they do contest. That's actually the thing. They don't outright deny there's no way possible that the Harbingers could ever be part of our prehistory. They want to examine that in detail, and they're almost kind of holding Angela and the Ninth Analyst in this perpetual loop of being bounced around. So the negotiation's been brought to a standstill. But it does seem like it could be very easily, if the in theory so wish it, they could easily advance it. This could be very quickly put to some sort of in theory vote or movement, like, because the Upatari and the Savixcast are the ones who they're only holding this whole court and examine inquiry on behalf of the in theory. They're the ones who are making all this noise, and now for some reason they're not.
Now they want to stall. Yeah. No, this is the Oh my God. Okay. Now, see, this is where the feather, this is where I think, let me call up that, that guy I know who knows a guy who's good at shooting people. But, Starfleet doesn't like that. So instead, let me think. Could I, because I want this to progress, because I want it to be over, and I don't want this to, like, continue to spiral out and bubble out. So, God. Can I make an insight roll to think about what I can do here? Because I like, my one idea is, I could publicly shame these people, like go on some kind of news broadcast and be like, this is what I think they're doing. I think they're stalling because they don't want this to progress. But also, like, that's a very public and forward and aggressive way of handling this. So I don't know about that. So can I make an insight roll to see what other options I might have?
Insight, command, difficulty 2.
Say focusing politics.
I would say so, yeah.
I'll spend that one momentum. Although, we should have 2. Yeah.
1 burn for a new scene. Oh, wait, you gained 1. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So there should be 1 more.
Oh, God. So I replaced my old value with a new value. My old value was there's no point in living if you're not having fun. And that value, I never got to use it because bad things were always happening and I never had a chance to have fun. And I replaced it. I challenged it last week and I replaced it with the mission always comes first. Can I spend my determination on that? Because in this case, The inferior, the inferior are dragging out the mission. We have a mission. We have to resolve our dispute with these people, and you're dragging it out, and it has to be solved now before any discussions of archaeological sites happens.
Yeah, I could take that.
All right, then I'll re-roll the 2. There we go.
Generate 2. You think on it. You know, as a citizen of the free information sphere, that the presiding speaker can't really push into this. They're just a facilitator. They are the voice of the assembly. This is not an assembly matter yet, because it hasn't gotten to them yet, so he can't do anything about it. But you do know that there are a few people you could reach out to that can basically can force the issue. It prevents roadblocks like this from happening. It's just for some. There is the Minister of Defense, the head of research, the Director of Intelligence, or even the Supreme Justice could weigh in. It's just a matter of how you want this to be shut down. Who you want to step in and force the issue, because based on their background, that's how they'll come down on it.
Could I spend that momentum to learn how they would all handle the problem, or to make an inference in how they would handle the problem?
I could answer for each momentum. It will be each person basically.
And what were the people you said?
They're in the Roll20 chat, although I'll put them in Discord as well. That boop, dang it. Boop, get in there. Thank you.
Minister of Defense, the head of research, the director of intelligence, and the Supreme Justice. How would the intelligence director handle this?
Their role is to look out for the overall intelligence of the free information sphere. And they would basically seize jurisdiction, and this would fall out of the court system, and they would invoke matters of free information intelligence, and they would debrief these people in detail and then inform the relevant persons about what they found out. They would have to tell the Harmony Enforcement Division, like the Justice eventually, but they would just yank it out of the inferior's hand and go, no, the director is going to be the one that debriefs and talks to these people.
So would that end our mediation of the court case between the two, or is this unrelated?
They would become a prize witness to the relevant judiciary, basically, because they haven't really sat in court and gone through the whole system, because they've been bounced around in various mini inquests. Whereas this would turn into, no, the director of intelligence saying, I'm doing the inquest. I will inform the Supreme Justice if there's any crimes that are involved that need to be addressed, which for a fact there would be, so they'd have to tell them. But
okay, and how much momentum do we have now? I think 0.
You're at 2 now.
Oh, I do have 2 more. Oh, I can't count. Okay, the other 2 I want to know are the Minister of Defense and the Supreme Court Justice.
The Minister of Defense would they would make this a FIDF issue, a Free Information Defense Force issue. So it's suddenly instead of it, they would basically send out the Stellar Fleet, and they would assign this to the Stellar Fleet, the attack swarms for the Commissariat or the Savix Cast. And sort of like a Starfleet mission in the similar sense of, like, they'd find a ship most relevant to examining the question and send them to go do an inquest to go, nope, we're taking custody of these 2 people, we're going to hold them, we'll investigate, and then we'll report. But we'll send out a ship or ships to look into it. In that same vein, they may reach out to the Da Vinci A and say, hey, you look into it, if they thought that they were the best ship for the task. But they may send out one of their own. It depends how the ministers what the minister hears and how they address. But you're not sure. You don't deal with the minister directly. That's not your role. They are the one who authorizes your promotions on advisory and such. But you don't personally talk to them. You don't need to.
They're way above my pay grade. Yeah. Okay. And then the last one I spent for was the Supreme Court.
So yeah, they would basically just put a court order and say, all right, all of you get second. If you want to talk to them, that's fine. We get to talk to them first. Go away. If you do not, I will have harmonizers collect them and make them come to me. They will talk to us, and if you try to stop them, the harmonizers will enforce the irrelevant fines.
Yeah.
The fact that they haven't is kind of surprising. They haven't. That's something they could have done without you poking them. They just haven't done it. But you could, in theory, suggest to them, hey, do it. But for some reason, they haven't.
Yeah. Okay. So, this is good. This is quite a situation we have here, where our civil order has failed to produce the results that we need. The judiciary is failing to do their duty, and so So I don't know the Minister of Defense. I can't just call him up and be like, hey, can I make a suggestion? Can you do a little bit of interference in our politics? No. Can I... how on earth do I put this idea in his brain? I need the guys from Inception to do it.
Well, there is a sub-commander of the Town of Shiar here. He can do it.
Oh yeah, it's like that one episode where they kidnap Jordy and they like brainwash him to the Harvey Oswald guy. You need to do that. Oh god. How do I really don't want to just go up to this guy and be like, hey, what do you think about doing this? Because he's probably going to be like, I'm removing you from your post for even making this suggestion, because I don't know him well enough. Can I make a research roll into the Secretary of Defense to learn what they're like and what their politics are and how they would feel about interfering in this? It is a matter of urgent national security, I would like to remind everyone.
Reason command, difficulty 5, assisted by computers command. As this person, although the free information sphere is rather free, the Minister of Defense here is of the same cloth as Varys is, in that they are exceptionally private and cagey about their movements for military reasons. Very atypical of most of the free information sphere. Although I will note, this is the most resistance you've ever heard of. Because growing up, you would have heard 1 or 2 things about previous ministers, but this one is really, really hard. It has made great efforts to hide their exact movements. The only thing that you do know is that they are a Sappix cast of all things.
Hey, fair enough. Okay. 25. Okay, reason command. A focus in investigative techniques.
Holy crap, you have that? Yeah, that would work.
Yeah. Before she was in this, she was in data analysis. And how official data analysis is as a job is, up to you to decide. A reason command, focus, that's 14 with a focus. I don't have a determination anymore. Mm. Okay. Political operative as a focus. I'm able to grease the right palms, give the right gifts in order to talk to someone who knows about them.
I'll take that. Yeah.
All right, so that's diff 4. Um, Steel Fleet officer on the grounds of like I have more. Like I can just punch in my command codes into a computer and pull up information that civilians and even Starfleet officers couldn't necessarily have access to.
Yeah.
Okay, diff 3. Okay. I can work with diff 3. Diff 3, that's fine. Take 6 threat. I lied. I can't. And you know what? Because I think I know what the consequences for failure are. I will leave the roll as is. Failure and comp in hand.
So, as you're looking into the matter, something happens. Something in front of me. Harmonizer, you get a call from the Ministry of Defense.
Kovic here.
Greetings. Is this Harmonizer? This is Harmonizer Kovic, correct?
Yes, to whom am I speaking?
I am with the Minister of Defense's office, and we have determined an unlawful inquiry into the minister's files, and we would like to request your assistance in their capture.
Certainly. Have you identified the perpetrator, or it's an investigation required?
It would, according to our data, it would believe to be Captain of Stars Seirana.
Huh. Well, all right. Since this is coming from Ministry of Defense, I don't expect to have any trouble from the military. I'll see to it.
And the minister would advise discretion. The political climate, as you're, I'm sure, aware, is charged at the moment. And that
Fair
captain
enough.
has some interesting friends.
Indeed, she does. Understood. We'll take care of it.
Your harmony is appreciated.
Harmony always is.
And actually, as per protocol, because the Ministry of Defense is reaching out to the harmonizers, you actually get a data paperwork that basically there's an official formal request for arrest warrant from the ministry.
All right. So I will file that request with my own recommendation that it should be followed, I guess. Well, okay.
Yeah, because you are the station harmonizer. You can say, I don't think this is the right move. I disallow it. Because they can't arrest her. You're the harmonizer. They're not. That's your job, not theirs.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think first I'll just contact, before I do anything else, I'll contact Captain of the Stars Siriana. Kovic to Captain of the Stars Siriana.
So, okay, I just need a little bit of context. Is this a day after, or is this an hour after?
This is the night of. Like you've done a lot of digging, and oh man, you have found this guy is almost impossible. No one's telling you anything, or if they do, it's about the old minister, which was Varys. Maybe if you look into this system, maybe if you do that, you know what? You'll think about it for a second. You know.
Yeah, she's like surrounded by like scraps of paper because she didn't want to leave like a digital trail, so she was writing all of this information down. So there's like scraps of paper and like dozens of pads, and you know she's been consuming large amounts of highly sugary, highly caffeinated beverages, and you know you hear her go up. What? Sorry. Hi, Sirana here. What can I do for you?
Captain of the Stars, could you come by my office? I've got something that I think I need your eyes on.
Is this an urgent request? I'm off duty and I'm kind of in the middle of something important.
I understand, but it does have to do with the security of the FIS, and I wanted to get your opinion on it.
Oh yes, okay. Yes.
Sorry to bother you after hours, but yeah, it's late for me too.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Okay. I will be down there in 5 minutes. Just let me clean up here. GM, I have like a paper shredder incinerator, like, some location to dump waste in a way that destroys it. Do you think that's a reasonable thing?
I would say
Like,
so, yeah.
Yeah, I want to dump any like paper notes I have in there. Because this guy is deeply sus, and I am incredibly disturbed. He's apparently our Minister of Defense, and he's acting like I don't know, like an evil dark wizard or something. So yeah, I want to get rid of anything I've written down, clean the place up, and then go see Kovlik in time in a way that doesn't make it look like I was like being suspicious.
You don't like that he's acting like you?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Kovic's going to sweep his office and set it to block any eavesdropping devices. Put the monitor on some weird frequency that makes it hard to hear over all that good kind of stuff.
I get you. Easily done. It's the harmonizer's office.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. Did you want me to make a roll for that, or could I just say I did it?
Don't worry about it. You're fine.
Yay! Okay. Then I will shuffle on down to the harmonizer's office.
I'll show her into my office and close the door behind her, have her have a seat in front of my desk, go behind it, light up a dope stick, kind of stare at her for a minute. Do you want to tell me why I have a request from the Ministry of Defense to arrest you for intrusion into the minister's systems?
She kind of like stutters for like almost a minute, going like, "Well, and then finally she says, "Look, he's an incredibly suspicious man." GM, do I even know a gender for this person?
They're Savage They don't really have those.
Okay, look, they're an incredibly suspicious person. They're my boss. They're the highest ranking official in the entire defense industry, or not industry, the entire defense department. Freudian slip there. And there's almost nothing on them anywhere. You look at the website, or you look at any database of information on any of the other public civil servants in the cabinet, and there's so much more there on them. And there's a currently incredibly strange occurrence happening where we are supposed to be progressing with these very urgent diplomatic negotiations with the harbingers. And what happened? Things are frozen. They're being kept in a loop by figures in the government, unknown figures in the government, mainly in theory, but not entirely. And I was simply doing my due diligence as a officer of the Navy and as a concerned citizen in ensuring that no foul play was happening.
Your due diligence includes illegally accessing secured military systems?
GM, can I ask you a question?
Certainly.
Did I actually do that? Do I know that I broke the law when I
You made no efforts to break the law from your role.
What do you mean by that? Oh, like as far as I know, I was acting in the clear, simply looking legal pieces of information up.
Yeah, because you were using your command codes. You're talking to people you knew. You weren't trying to from what you told me from the roll earlier, you weren't trying to hack anything. You weren't
No.
trying to spice. You
Okay,
didn't.
that's
You didn't
what I
bribe
thought.
anybody.
But that's what they told me, right?
That's what they told
Yes.
you, and that's what the order says
Yeah.
as well.
She looks confused and says, I did not break any law. I used my command codes, which I am allowed to use to look up information in our FIDF database. I did some cursory scans, and I made some communications to different friends and people I know in the service and asked them some questions. None of those things are crimes. I'm an open book, Harmonizer. I've done nothing illegal. I love this country. I would never commit a crime against it. I
I'm
don't
assuming
understand.
you have you have the computer logs and witnesses who will come forward and testify to your activities that will prove that you broke no laws during this.
Is this the kind of state we live in now, where we have to assume guilt first and prove our innocence? Have we become like the Cardassians?
I'm trying to give you a heads up. I have an official request signed and sealed by the Ministry of Defense requesting a warrant for your arrest for what they claim are charging. I'm sitting on this for a few minutes, as long as I can, and trying to give you a chance to A, explain to me, and B, prepare for your defense. I can't, well, okay, actually, the GM just told me I could. So I need a reason to quash this request. And right now, between poking around, even legally, the Minister of Defense and your efforts to, shall we say, shift the mood of the station and FIS politics toward a more aggressive direction. Again, not illegal, but it's kind of odd at this moment for you to be talking about others acting suspiciously.
I am simply a citizen with I am simply a citizen with a patriotic duty and an
Kovic will
inexpensive.
smack his flat hand hard on the desk. Captain, you do not have the luxury of prevaricating and dressing things up in fancy language. I'm telling you, as the harmonizer, that I have an official request for your arrest, and I need a reason to quash it, or it will go forward, and you're going to find yourself a few meters over in a much smaller sleeping arrangement than you're used to.
She like you see, like, after you slap your hands down on the table, you see like her whole like body like shrinks to like, like 50% of its normal size, and she kind of like squishes backwards. And she says, "One moment, let me make some calls." And I would like, and she kind of slides back, and I would like to call some people as an alibi to prove that like I was doing perfectly legal work and asking them questions and investigating, and that I did not commit any crimes in the course of all of this.
What are you talking
And
about?
your-
We never talked.
And your computer logs?
Yeah,
Well, computer logs.
those I will turn over. I want to. I assume I can just like pull up my search history, whatever the equivalent is, and look at it and see that it looks normal and submit it to him.
Oh, you look at it. It's all deleted.
It's all gone.
Yeah, it's all scraped, shredded away.
Did I do this?
You just shredded away paper. You didn't get rid of the computer searches. Why would you? I mean, if someone looked, go ahead. But like, deleting search records is a crime.
Smiley face.
Look, Harmonizer, you have to understand, I did not delete these records. I swear to you, I did not delete these records. I am being set up here. The Minister of Defense views me as a threat, and they're trying to bury me. Harmonizer, how long
Why
have
would
we
they
worked?
do that?
You don't even know who they are.
You know the name's
Don't-
Jaffa, if that helps you at all.
I don't know. I don't know anything about this person. That's what I was trying to figure out. All I was trying to do was learn more about my boss, and now I'm being the target of a witch hunt I just said that. I'm being the target of a purge against dissident officers. This is ridiculous. Harmonizer,
Dissident.
Harmonizer, you have to understand, I have not committed any crimes here.
So you say, and yet you can provide no alibis for the way you've spent your time, while the military's documentation, I'll kind of scroll through, does it look fairly thorough and legit?
Insight security. Reason security. Difficulty of 5.
Okay.
Actually,
Investigative techniques.
I spend again for that. That's only fair. Investigate. I almost deleted things I didn't want to. Investigative techniques, yes.
Okay.
Station helps with computer security. Because you are the harmonizer, it's hard to lock you out.
Okay. Trait pitch, hard-boiled detective. Cynic, because yeah, of course somebody's trying to set her up. Okay. Okay, here's one.
Cynic goes both ways, which is great.
Yeah.
What about campaign fatigue? Because if somebody's trying to lie to me, and I'm trying to resist being deceived, I mean, I don't know if you let it apply or not, but it's worth a shot.
Let me read it. Where is it? There it is. You can add a d20, sure.
Okay. So, okay, add a bonus d20. Does that still cost? So just like my first one's free, and then the price stays the same going up?
Yeah, you always get the cheaper die is the one that gets filled first.
Okay, cool. Okay, this seems like a pretty important role, because otherwise I'm going to have to lock up somebody who, well, a bit misguided is basically a good slime. Let's see.
Should have taken their art classes more seriously.
Yeah, really. Yes, because David, very pretty, but really boring.
Or whatever Mussolini was into in his spare time other than me.
Okay.
Nah, you're more effective than he is. Never mind.
Back to Lost in Subspace for the milestone where I spent to investigate a freighter's logs and cargo and determined that they were falsified. Like again, it's an instance of looking through computer records and figuring out.
I would take it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Scratch that out before I forget. Edit.
Yeah, of the crime Sermon is actually guilty of these. That's not the one you're even being arrested for.
Right.
Very interesting looking Minister of Defense.
Hey, what?
I didn't know they came in that color.
Strike through. Okay. Save changes. Okay, and spend it towards everybody has a tell. Okay, so, and then I will give you 1, 2, 3 threat for the 4th die, since the 3rd one is free. All right. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
7 off of 3, essentially, so 4. Plus station.
Yeah.
Oh, station's not working against us here.
Nope, not against Harmonizer Kovic. You can't. Locking him out is a very quick way to get the Harmonizer very angry at you.
Yeah.
What is the station assisting with?
Computer security.
Computers security.
It's like, Harmonizer Kovic, you've been locked out. Not without act of the assembly. I'm not.
So that's 8 hits total.
So another one. These look incredibly convincing. And you think any Starfleet officer, even an intelligence officer, might struggle with this and think it's legit because it looks right. It follows all the digital signatures and secondary signatures. However, you've been working with the free information sphere and you've done some preamble and you're a bit of a cynic compared to even an intelligence officer. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them. It's the too neat principle. It fits so well. Something's wrong. There's nothing glaring about it that's wrong.
Right.
But you can tell it is. It doesn't feel like a Minister of Defense inquiry paper. Like there's a whole system. Like you have a bunch of hoops you jump through as a harmonizer. The FIDF are no different. They have the same. They have different hoops, but they're still hoops. And this feels like there's certain hoops that are missing that you know should be there, but aren't. That's just barely off. Likely done by someone who has a keen understanding of computer manipulation, data manipulation.
Okay, so when you say there's some like hoops that haven't been jumped through, is that like enough is that evident in the paperwork where I can go back and go, you know, this hasn't been done, that hasn't been done, this hasn't been done, I can't execute this until, you know, it's returned when the proper hoops have been jumped through, or is that just me sussing things out?
For momentum, I'll clarify.
Sure.
You have two paths. You can stall and get them to fill it out properly again, or you can launch your own inquiry, citing that you believe this is an illegal document. I don't know which way you want to go on that, but that's up to you.
Right. Well, the Minister of Defense, if they are messing with it, they've already proven they've got a pretty far reach. Okay. So I look up at Sariana and kind of toss the pad that I've been reading off of onto the desk. Truth be told, you're being framed. It's just too pat, too perfect. So, but I have a feeling if I declare this document to be falsified and open an investigation, that I'm going to get nowhere fast. And they've already proven they're willing to hack into whatever they need to hack into to complete the frame. So they've made a couple of mistakes in procedure. I can send this back and request that they've resubmitted after filling it out properly, which will buy us about how much time, GM?
1 second. Where the hell? Oh. And I'm going to spend some threat to make this nebulous. Ow. Don't mind me, I'm just smacking my head against things.
Now entering the Corbinian Nebula.
It's bear-shaped.
Rawr.
No, the furry phantom.
Settle down, author.
Wow. Just shooting off strays left and right. God damn.
Given the level of skill this person has, about 5 minutes.
Okay. But that ain't going to buy us. Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say that part, although the free information sphere is not nearly as advanced as Starfleet, even in ENT era type computers and such, they're still pretty damn fast.
Right. I said, which will take them all of 5 minutes. Now, before I submit that request, I can wait a few minutes longer. We've got two ways, as I see it, to play it. I can do a full open, you know, this is bullshit and I'm going to investigate you. Again, brick wall, too much power, too much entrenched authority. We can get the warrant go through, I can arrest you, and then I can slow walk the entire rest of the process and investigate while you're locked up. or you've got enough time to go AWOL and figure out where and how to hide while we work both ends of the case. How do you
What
want to play it?
What if Serana could hide literally anywhere in the Federation in like 3 hours?
Glad you're not here.
Just half an hour. The wings are powerful.
Oh my god. Oh my. I was literally about to say, well, I feel like the easiest course of action is just for me to accept arrest. But then I will think of the QED drive that would let us travel to anywhere extremely far away, including some sort of far off neutral planet where I could hide in exile. So I want to pull open my this is like a couple hours after they landed on the Zindi planet, correct?
Yeah, they would have been there. They would have arrived by now.
Of course, quantum entanglement communicator.
So are they back by now? Or are they?
No,
They're on the Zindi planet.
Oh no.
They said they were spending the night, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were gonna go throw down with all of Kovik's Click's old crowd, and then fix the ship in the morning and come back.
Yeah, we're in some wild Zindi bar that serves all 4 species, and there's all sorts of stuff going on.
Yeah, you got to be really careful what you order off the menu.
Don't.
Okay. In that case, she is going to make a desperate Hail Mary call to neither of you have QEC communicators,
The
so I guess
ship does.
I will attempt to call the shuttle on the off chance that I can pull the ship back.
For 2 momentum, you can get someone other than the computer.
Okay, yeah, I want to spend 2 momentum to say that that happens to send an alert to someone's pad, and someone happens to not be intoxicated enough that they can understand the message.
So wherever you are, Haifa, you probably have like a, make sure no one's stealing your ride sort of alert.
Yeah.
Your
Hijack alarm?
hijack alarm, yeah. And
I was about to say, just saying that got me in the frame of mind that whatever bar Click took Haifa to is like a Mos Eisley kind of den of thieves.
Yeah, you did not wear your Starfleet uniform.
Yeah, I know what you run on Thursdays. But yeah, your combadge chirps at you. Well, your communication matrix chirps at you, as it were, to alert you that the shuttle's being is alerting you to something, and that you should attend to it.
I'll hit the comm badge.
You have a communication from Captain of Stars Seirana. Urgent.
All right, I'll
Currently on QEC channel 5.257276.
I'll look at Click and say, all right, one more round, but off of the human or the holographic menu, and then I'll be back in a second.
Holographic worms have no taste. They lack crunch.
Lack crunch?
But they have movement.
You can turn up the crunch on the hologram, you know that, right, Click?
It's not the same.
Then I'll go find a quiet corner and say, yes, Captain.
Oh my god. This is a very desperate thing. Are you still on the insect planet?
Kovic holds
Most
up
of
his
them
hand.
are not insects.
Kovic holds up his hand and a finger just once, and then steps out of the office into the hall, closing the door behind him.
You're getting dinged for that,
Do what?
You're getting dinged for that, just letting you know.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Lots of people getting dinged, don't worry about it.
I could assume. So okay. I'm sorry. the species
Standing after
demographics of the
smoking.
planet are not important right now. How quickly can you return to the station?
Protect the hive! Yeah, protect the hive!
Now presenting the Hivers, yeah.
GM, do I think I could safely transit using the same reactor power dump again? Or
Using the same power dump. The problem you've identified is a problem that you need to fix for out of the prototype stage. It might not happen again, but it might. So, but you have enough power to soak that hit again if it happens. If it's the same kind of error.
Okay. In an emergency, an hour, but preferably about 8.
I'm very sorry to interrupt your fun with the insect people, but a very urgent matter has come up, and I cannot order you, for this is off the books, but I must request that you return immediately.
What do we mean off the books, Captain?
She kind of like looks out the door to Kovuk. Like, I imagine Kovuk.
No,
like,
the door's closed. I can't hear
No,
what you're
He's
saying.
gone.
no, but okay, is the door glass?
No.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Then she like glances to the door where she knows Kovuk must be like
Smoking.
Yeah. And she says, I think it's for the best if you know as little as possible. However, Harmonizer Kovuk will inform you once you arrive.
All right, Captain. Yeah, give us an hour.
We'll be at Docking Bay, and she pauses for a second. 13C should be empty at this time.
All right, 13C in make it an hour and 15 for us to get up in space, and then I'll cut the comm. And then I'm gonna call Kovic.
This is Halanak Station receiving your message, Commander Haifa. How may I direct your call?
Harmonizer Kovic, urgent.
Hi, Manager Kovic. This is operations. We have an urgent call from Commander Haifa. Very busy day today.
I just bet you do. I patch him through to my communicator. To my communicator.
Patching.
Yes.
And you're routed.
Kovic here.
There's a deep
Congratulations,
inhale
Commander
from
Haifa.
your
I guess
side.
this means you survived.
Yeah. Well, the journey, the worms I'm still worried about.
Okay, what can I do for you?
There's a pause as Haifa takes a drag to literally
Audible
like
drag.
find a way to deal with the stress of the situation.
I imagine Kovic like knows that sound.
He hears it every morning, ever since that day. Sorry, I'm getting distracted.
What's off the books and what are you going to tell me about?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just here in the office finishing up some paperwork.
See, I've got a meeting with you in an hour and a half at Docking Bay 13C where you're going to tell me what's urgent.
Kovic like rolls his eyes and just like grits his teeth, and his eyes kind of squint shut, and he takes a drag on a cigarette, or dope stick rather, and says, "I'm not aware of any appointment with you. However, if somebody is using my name to make some sort of appointment with your incredibly fast, long-range slipstream drive ship, it's probably incredibly important. Not to say also very likely highly illegal."
High speed, low drag, Haifa. Let's go.
But anything beyond that, I don't know anything about. And that's how I like things.
at the moment.
Sometimes it's better not to know. Because if you don't
Well-
know, they don't know you know, and they can't make you tell.
If
I
it's,
don't think you're helping our case.
Hypha says, if it was a matter of life and death, you'd tell me. So since it's not, and I have several oaths to uphold, I'll forward a couple of QAC comms to Thralic and Ryloff for that you may require their assistance. And if you need my help, I'll be back in about 24 hours.
Fair enough. Enjoy. And again, congratulations. And Kovic. Kovic shuts his communicator, throws his dope stick on the ground, angrily stamps it out, and storms back into the office. You are the absolute worst political intriguer I've ever met in my life.
Because I remember the hidden nexus. It's not her fault.
Hey, you. He like starts and then sighs and says, "You're right. Just put me in change. My career's probably over anyways. What does it matter?"
Right. So you put me in a position of not of having to let Haifa know that something hinky was going on so that he wouldn't wreck his career. So you can eat.
Warning. Front desk alert.
Oh, let me look at the damn computer here. What's going on?
Harmonizer, we have an issue outside the entrance. There's a lot of very angry Upentari outside of our door. They say they're part of the Electoral Freedom Network.
What the hell?
I like how I look over and I see Haifa.
Hang
I know
on.
he's not actually there, but that was funny.
All right, wait one. I'll pull up like the news feeds and see what's going on with this group. Like all of a sudden.
The news, the Free Information Sphere is now currently covering on multiple news channels that that members of the Upentari Electoral Freedom Network are protesting the Harmonizer's unlawful detention of Captain of Stars Seirana, a champion of reform for the Free Information Sphere, and demands that her rights to promote electoral and governmental reform be recognized and not hindered by the Harmonizer's office, and they demand answers. And then there's like talking heads where it gets cut to where a lot of ministers are just caught completely off guard. They're trying to, you can tell they're trying to not say anything bad about you because they're in the dark. They don't know why this has happened. Right. So it's a lot of padding and saying we respect the laws, we trust in the Harmonizer's judgment. I am sure he will answer all questions once we verified, but please remain calm, maintain order, so on and so on and so on.
Okay, I look up at Seirana and go, well, it does look like you have friends. So I tell her about the protesters. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave and you're going to explain to people that that I wasn't detaining you, that you were assisting me on a case or whatever, that I was consulting with you, not detaining you. And then you can leave with them or whatever. That's a pretty big crowd of Upentari out there. And 45 minutes or so, I'll start the processing of the warrant through the Judicial Council to get the actual warrant. And then from there, we'll see if we can't track you down to arrest you.
You're kinder than I deserved. And
Yes.
she very meekly slimes her way out. Okay, yeah, I am going to, aiming head, like lights fluttering or bioluminescence fluttering in like embarrassment and shame, I'm going to slime my way up to the group of people outside.
As you go out the doors, you see there's a few harmonizers that have kind of gathered in the lobby, and they kind of let you go by, of course. Well, actually, they look to Kovic. I don't know if he's there or if you're waiting in your office.
Yeah, I'll have follow her out.
So you see there's a few harmonizers who are just kind of making sure people don't just charge into the harmonizer's office. They don't have their guns out because this is the free information sphere. That's not how things are done. But, you know, everyone has their weapons and their armor because they're not stupid either.
Right. And when they look at me, I go, we were just meeting. She's, of course, free to go.
They nod. One of them hits a comms on the thing and says, make way, make way. And the door opens, and Sayranda, you see there the whole promenade area in front of the door is packed. There's harmonizers like holding people away from the door. There's a bunch of slimes all over cheering. You actually see some Federation people holding up signs as well. Apparently they're part of this as well. How did they join? That's a whole other problem. Don't worry about it. But lots of cheering. Free her now. Free her now.
Oh my god.
Free democracy.
Okay. This is like the Dreyfus affair if Dreyfus had actually done treason. I can't believe this is where we're at. Okay. She is going to step out into the crowd, and I want to, cusp my mouth. I don't really have lips, I think, but I want to cusp my limbs around my mouth and say, please, everyone, stay calm, friends. Please stop. I want to get their attention first, and then I'll try to talk them down.
As you start shouting at people, and people start, that's when your whole body just gives out. You feel your slime ooze around the platform you're standing on, and you just tumble off into a lump. They're screaming.
Shit.
They're screaming and shouting and all kinds of mayhem outside the door. The harmonizers immediately start to draw, but they look at Kovac and they start looking among each other. Who did that? What happened? I don't know. Did someone shoot? No one shot her. What happened?
Hold your fire and get a damn medical team down here. Stat.
And it is on that. We will leave it. Yeah, nothing can ever be simple on Halanak Station, because why would I ever do that? There will be more questions to be answered and mysteries to be unraveled, and I guess we know what our next mission is. On top of figuring out what the chains of command are, but that's a different problem for another day. For now, all of you watching, thank you very much for watching. For those of you playing, thank you very much for playing. And we'll see you again next time. Bye. Not gonna lie, wasn't thinking that was gonna be how I was gonna end it, but hey, that's where the dice took us. I'm so glad I took notes.
Oh my god.
See the holes you dig.